On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're stepping inside 4 stunning homes that prove butter yellow is so much more than a fleeting trend, but rather a timeless color that can instantly elevate and brighten any space. First, we visit the Palm Beach retreat of floral designer Lewis Miller, where warm yellow tones mingle with rich tobacco browns to create a refined, masculine atmosphere while still embracing a playful mix of color and pattern. Next, we head to Dallas, where the heart of one family's home is a show-stopping room bathed in butter yellow and thoughtfully designed for entertaining and unforgettable gatherings. Then we're off to Dublin, where an artist's kitchen features locally made yellow cabinetry, adding a bold, sunny twist. Finally, we're stopping by a charming 1840s seaside home, where creamy yellow walls infuse the historic interiors with warmth, light, and a sense of enchantment. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Lewis. Thank you so much for coming to my home in West Palm Beach. Come on in, let me show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
My name is Lewis Miller. I am a floral and event designer with offices in New York and West Palm Beach, and today we are at my home in West Palm Beach. I bought this home in 2021. It's a 1925 Spanish Mediterranean house. It was love at first sight. Honestly, I bought it sight unseen and came down and loved it even more. So then spent the next 6 months to a year really gutting it and doing a lot of cosmetic changes to make it feel like home. Buying this place sight unseen was a little nerve-wracking, but I had looked at so many properties, and what I loved instantly about this property was that the bones were all there. It was a great little size. It was a manageable size. It was kind of a blank slate, to be perfectly honest. It was in great condition. I had to do a few, minor adjustments to the foundations and the roof, but then it was really about coming in and having lots of fun with wallpaper and color and tile and pattern and furniture. Now, the realtor I was with, they were very dubious. They thought I was kind of making a mistake because they couldn't see it. They have since changed their mind. But just walking in and being able to see the light, see the space, see the proportions, see the flow, see how it was a very small house, but it didn't have a lot of wasted space. There were some areas we had to blast through some walls to enlarge some spaces and to connect rooms, but it really was just like, wow, this is amazing. Glad I bought it. No regrets. My kind of decor idea for this place was that I really wanted it to not feel like typical Palm Beach, which can be a lot of blue and white, or it can be very pink and preppy and green. I wanted this to feel like Hemingway, old Florida, like Florida before air conditioning. So really unusual colors like dark teals and mustards and greens and tobacco browns, a lot of antiques, hand-painted floors, using a lot of pattern and natural elements so that it felt very Floridian, but at the same time it was very masculine. It was kind of edgy and didn't feel too expected and had a very warm, sort of curated look about it that just felt like things that I'd collected over, centuries if I were that old, but found objects. Welcome to the entryway, the foyer, the Florida room of this house. So when I bought this house, this was one long room that had a very small doorway here and no other opening. Originally, this was a screened-in porch. So what's amazing about this room is that it has so much natural light flow in. My original inspiration and my hope was to have this whole room paneled in antique Pecky cypress wood panels, but that is so exorbitantly expensive that we had to settle for wallpaper, but I think it was not much of a settle because I'm really excited. We found this faux bois wallpaper by Martin Lawrence Bulliard, which is a beautiful mustard color, and this fell right into the color scheme I wanted in this house. I really want to embrace these sort of deep, old Florida colors, but unusual colors. So you're going to get turquoises and blues and peach and mustard all in one room. This Kaleem I actually found on Cherish. It ties all the colors in. This amazing bench I brought from my house upstate, covered in a Carolina Irving fabric. My two prized possessions are these little lamps here. These are Madeleine Castaing lamps that I bought in Paris 2.5 years ago, and they're in perfect condition. I love how the bright turquoisey, tealy blue goes against the mustard. And then of course at the end here, it's Florida, it's an entryway. We have this fun rattan bar. So I like having some of these nods to Florida and Palm Beach, like the rattan and the caning, without going too heavy into it. It's a great little room all by itself. When guests come, a lot of people, we just have a hard time actually getting them out of this room and into the rest of the house. This room is quite narrow, and it was a little bit perplexing, like how do you actually furnish a room like this? Because it's really not wide enough for big furniture, so that's why we chose to have this bar at the end of the room, which is adjacent to the dining room, so that works perfectly. I wanted a console here so that I can have lamps, have lighting, have a place to put keys, dog leashes and stuff, and then the bench was a natural choice because you sit down, you put your shoes on, you put packages there. So while this room is narrow, it's very functional, and it's kind of broken down into three little individual spaces in one cohesive space. One thing I want to point out, the door, again, I really wanted a very expensive antique door. They just weren't available. So I found this amazing faux painter down here who did all of this wood paneling. This is all painted on. So this is hand painted, faux painted. The floors were stripped down, so they're just a pickled Florida pine. And then this leads right into the living room, which originally this had a very narrow door, but I opened this up so that this room has much more light. Come on with me to the living room and let me show you this space. This living room was originally the dining room. For some reason, it's the biggest room in the house, so I'm not sure why. And there was actually a door that connected to the kitchen there. We closed in this door, we made this door larger, and we put in all the bookcases so that it's surrounded by books. It's a library, living room, it's very cozy. The walls are painted this deep, intense, tealy green blue. The floors have been hand painted by Mary Mead from Atlanta. They're done in this geometrical tobacco stained pattern with the natural rush rug. These two chairs here I found locally. They're French, antique French armchairs, club chairs, so I love them because they're a little tattered, they're a little worn. The dogs love them. This sofa here, it's a down sofa. The dogs love it, as you can see. This is from Howe, London, one of my very favorite furniture makers on Pimlico Road. And then this bird prints I found in Paris at Stéphane Olivier Antiques, and that added just the right touch because it feels very Floridian, but it's sort of saturated, it's antique, it's vintage. It works great with the colors in here. I love having plants in here, whether they're bromeliads or unusual specimen orchids. And again, like a little bit of flowers every now and then, like these sweet peas. We have a cute little window seat over here that is covered in this hydrangea print with that matches the shades, and the wall sconces all have rattan shades. This is a great room, so I can't imagine it being a dining room. It makes for a very cozy living space, and we love it. And it's also really pretty at night when you're walking down the sidewalk because you can see through the Florida room and you can see the bird prints on the wall. This desk is a vintage bamboo desk. Again, it's from a local antique dealer. It brings in some of that old Hemingway feeling. But there's a cute little detail I want to show you over here, and there's a couple throughout the house. So the guy who painted my front door, I wanted these little surprises. So this is the dead butterfly on the windowsill. So every once in a while, you'll get cute little moments of folly like that, that are there for no other reason than to just, you know, make you smile. While this room is directly off the Florida room, the line of sight from here looks over the front yard and the street, but this is, again, was important that the furniture in this Florida room didn't look cluttered, or that it actually made some sense. So sitting in this room, you see the bench, you see the curtains, and it actually does feel like an extension of the living room. Same thing when we get to the dining room, the bar feels like an extension of the dining room. So I've always been in love with the natural world. As a child, I grew up in gardens. I come from a family of gardeners. I've always loved flowers. I experimented very early on how flowers can change the dynamic of a room. I went to school for horticulture and landscape design, loved it. My attention span was a little too short for watching gardens grow, and I fell into the whole floral event design business, which was so perfect for my personality because you can really create a whole space, create a look, and it's all over at midnight. So I started doing this at a very young age. I started my business, Lewis Miller Design, in 2002. And yeah, focused primarily on creating beautiful special events for clients, some corporate stuff. And I have recently opened an office, actually it's 3 years now, in West Palm Beach. So I straddle my time between West Palm and New York City. Flower Flash started in 2016, though the idea had been percolating in my mind for quite a few years prior to that. Now I create weddings and parties and beautiful sort of private homes and hotels, and I've always loved the juxtaposition of flowers and nature and city, and the dichotomy and the democratic nature of New York City. And to that point, I was like, I wish there was a way that I could bring flowers to sort of my everyday New Yorkers. It's great that my clients get to see this and experience this, but the people who actually really need this joy in their life are people like you and me who get up every morning, go to work, and kind of get through the day. So at that point in my career, things were going well. I was like, there's got to be a way to give back. So the first Flower Flash happened in 2016. It was literally taking leftover flowers and doing sort of a pop-up street art installation with them for the sole purpose of nothing other than bringing a smile to somebody's face, that they could experience it, they could take a picture, that they could take a flower, and just kind of be a surprise in the middle of New York City. So welcome to my dining room. This room in the house was originally the living room. It has the fireplace here, and this wall was completely closed off. So one of the best things we did immediately was to open this up. This allowed all this natural sunlight to come streaming into the dining room. And you can see it connects to the Florida room. We have our bar there, so this really feels like a natural extension of the dining room. This room is one of my favorite rooms as well. There's something about it that just feels, I don't know, almost like things were collected from a pirate ship or something. Two of the most important things in this room that really ground the space are these two antique 17th century caryatids. They're Italian. I bought them from a dealer down here, an auction house down here in West Palm. And I paid a fortune for them, knowing that I could sell them tomorrow for twice as much. I actually got a pretty good deal on them. They're incredible. So I actually had them wired to be lamps so that they will light up. They look beautiful at night. They flank the archway here. We then come in, I've got the dining table, which is a pickled oak dining table surrounded by vintage French Louis Sagnot rattan chairs. Louis Sagnot rattan is, I love it, and I have a lot of it in the house. The wall sconces are also that. It's a little less typical when it comes to rattan for Palm Beach. It's from the 50s and 40s. It's French. It has a little bit more style, I think. So we pulled in the same yellow in the cushions here. This is the same fabric that is in the window shades and the window seat cover in the living room. We had this fireplace here that we inherited and could not find an antique fireplace surround that fit right or was somewhat affordable, so we kept this and had the faux painter do very exaggerated faux bois wood on this in this kind of rich mustard color. And then this amazing tile, tobacco stained Portuguese tile, which picks up the floor pattern. The walls are wallpapered. I use a lot of wallpaper in the house. We actually turned the pattern sideways for this wallpaper so that it felt more like a basket weave as opposed to going up and down. We thought it looked a little dizzying, so I actually prefer it this way because it has this kind of tendency to look like a basket weave. and then trimmed everything in this room out in the same green blue that the library living room is painted in. This pink chest is a piece I've had for years. I love, love, love the color. It's an early American blanket chest. I think the peach against the mustard, the blue-green, and the browns is really amazing. It has this old captain's lamp on it. This thing stays on 24/7, so there's always a nightlight in here. Then on this wall, I have this big crane print. When you have a big wall like this, it's hard to figure out what to put on a space like this, and I didn't want a lot of little things since I already had the birds over the sofa. I didn't want everything to be a bunch of small prints, so I found this locally. It's not an old piece, but it's got this nice saturated tobacco stained look to it of the herons. When it comes to doing flowers for my home, I honestly don't take a lot of chances or experiment because I have things set the way I like, and I want the flowers to not be center stage. They're really just to accent it and give it a little breath of life. So I love pottery, I love vessels. Traditionally, I'll have a beautiful pitcher or some pottery on a coffee table that without flowers, it looks great by itself. But then if I just want to throw a handful of ranunculus or tulips in it, great. Suddenly I have flowers. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. And it's just a nice, I think in general, a nice way to live with flowers, you know, working with the colors of the room so that, you know, you can pick up an obscure color in the room and focus the flower color on that. So they feel bold and they complement the art and the upholstery, but it doesn't feel like you overthought it or overdid it, which I think is crucial. On the dining table, I have always loved majolica, and these are majolica begonia leaves. So they are sitting on the table. I love the colors. They really bring in the colors of the entire house, actually. And then this rattan basket I bought from Sown in London, and just stuff it full of tillandsias and bromeliads, stuff that would naturally grow outside and look very at home in Florida. So this room is fun for entertaining because I hosted Thanksgiving here. I've done dinner parties here. I have a lot of beautiful china and placemats and linens. So it's really great to set this table up. You know, I'm usually a little sparing on the flowers because the table fills up very quickly. So I'll just do some small bud vases, but a lot of candles. But it really becomes about the color of the plates and the china and the linens and how it all works in this room. One little thing I want to show, another little detail here. We have a little mouse that was hand painted there in the corner. He's peeking out of his mouse hole. That's by the same artist who painted the fireplace and the butterfly. And the last thing here is our trompe l'oeil $50 bill on the corner of the bar. So this is very realistic. That's actually hand painted. It's not decoupaged, and it looks like somebody dropped some money, and it's just there for kids to look at and try to reclaim. So this room has a lot of patterns, but I love that because it's got a lot of energy, but nothing is very, very strong. I mean, the fireplace is pretty strong, but you know, I don't know. I think with the fact that it's all outlined in a very strong color, we kept the shade pattern to be a little bit more discreet, and it's more about the color scheme really working and that everything has some space and it's not terribly crammed up against each other. So it feels natural. It works with the natural fiber of the bamboo. You have the views into the other rooms that help it all make aesthetic sense. Okay, welcome to the family room. So this is where we spend most of our evenings. It's right off the kitchen. This room is a very cozy room. We started by wallpapering the entire room in a natural seagrass fabric. The color scheme for this room was really informed by the drapes, this beautiful hollyhock pattern that's got the same blue, greens, and yellows and browns in it. The yellow rug pulls the yellow in, the sofa, the chairs. I've got some antique botanicals here that are Florida native plants. So this again is homage to my love of flowers, but also the flora and the fauna of the surrounding area. So there's a lot of birds in this house. This is an English diorama of owls and pheasants that I got in the Hamptons probably 10 years ago, and I've been looking for the perfect place for it, and there it sits. The dogs love this space because every piece of furniture is down cushion, so it's impossible to keep them fluffed, but they're very comfortable. I have an antique Swedish cabinet here. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's very strong geometrical lines. And that's what's nice about this room is it leads directly into the powder room, which has this super fun crane wallpaper so you get that view of the birds at the same time. This room does feel a little bit more calm. The dining room, has a lot more pattern going on. This to me is kind of Florida meets English countryside. So there is a lot of English pieces in this room, from the sofa to the chairs to the fabric lampshades. The fabric's English, the bird diorama is English. So this is kind of my comfortable space that is a nod to my love of all things England. And we wanted to have this be more of a relaxing room because we've got the living room, which was much more intense. We've got the dining room, which acts as a passageway between all the other rooms, which is much more vibrant with pattern and color. And then we have this, which is just much more calm and relaxed. But what's nice about this room is that it leads into the kitchen, and you can see into the kitchen from this room, which is a completely different story altogether. Let's head into one of my very favorite rooms in the house, my kitchen. So what do I love most about this home? It's quiet, unlike my New York apartment. We sleep really well here. I really love the kitchen. The kitchen, I've always wanted a fully tiled kitchen, and we went for it in this home. So it's floor to ceiling, emerald green tiles. It's got a hand-painted floor. It feels very like old world, like an old English sort of Jamaican kitchen, but at the same time, it really, even though it's so different than the rest of the house, it really works really well. And you kind of turn the corner and suddenly you're just in this emerald jewel box of a room. Okay, welcome to our kitchen. So this is one of my favorite rooms in the house. I have always wanted a fully tiled kitchen, and I finally got it. So it's floor to ceiling, these amazing emerald green tiles. We kept the existing cabinets as is, painted them green, changed out the hardware, found this beautiful green veined marble for the top of the cabinets, for the countertops, and had the floor hand painted again in a diamond pattern in the same green by Mary Mead. The light fixtures overhead are from Urban Electric, and we had those customized in the same green. We built these shelves overhead. We have the brass fixtures, the English deep sink. Yeah, it's just a cozy, great room to cook in. This piece is a vintage Gustavian cabinet, which I found on Cherish, which is perfect for a spice rack, and it fits right here like it was made for the place between the refrigerator and the counter. And then on this side, we have the butler's pantry. So this is a lovely little extension that's got the wood countertops with the brass edging, this fun geranium leaf wallpaper, and then this one hit of pink in this cabinet here in the corner. In this room, I keep my love of platters and china. These beautiful pieces here I buy from a dealer in Paris, and this is handmade. And I just love, again, the browns and the unusualness of it. It's masculine and rich, but it's very old world. These platters here are a local artist, and they're beautiful. Again, there's a lot of flowers and bees and birds in my life, so these are great for hors d'oeuvres or big bowls of pasta. So we put in these open shelves. These were copied after the Duval shelves, but my guy down here in Florida who works for me is quite the MacGyver, and he can make anything, so he made them for me. We ordered the brass rods and the hooks, so they're great for cookbooks, casserole, dishes, bowls, all kinds of stuff that looks pretty and is useful. So this kitchen is great for cooking, and I have every pot and pan, every single utensil, every spice, so anybody can roll in here and cook an amazing meal. However, that person is generally not me. I tend to make arrangements for dinner or order out, but if you want to come and cook for me, it's all ready. This connecting window between the family room and the kitchen at first was a little bit of a dilemma. It was originally a bar counter. It felt very odd. It felt very diner-ish, and we thought we were going to try to find some old bottle glass, stained glass window or have something made to put that in here. Ultimately, I did not end up doing that because the way it turned out, it really does have a nice view into the family room. Somebody can be cooking here and visiting with somebody that's relaxing in that room. And it just also allows for a lot of natural light into this room, which could be dark otherwise. What makes a home come alive? Well, in my situation, it's dogs. I have 3 border terriers. And if I could have 6 or 10, I would in a jiffy, but 3 is sort of the max I can deal with being a single dad. So other than that, obviously I'm gonna say flowers and plants. I think it's really important to bring living elements into a house. It's no cliche that bringing living elements does make it feel alive. And color, I think color, nuances of color, beautiful textiles, wallpapers, things that you love, personal things, kind of really eschewing fashion or trends and just doing something that feels really connected to your soul and your aesthetic. Okay, let's go upstairs. Let me show you my bedroom. Excuse me, come on, Tug. Come on. Okay, welcome to my bedroom. So this room originally had a big closet, which we ripped it out so there was a larger space to create a little bit of a seating area. We moved the bathroom door over so that there was actually a proper wall for the bed. These walls are covered in this amazing printed rattan fabric that's got a pale stripe and a botanical print to it. We put in this closet and line the panels with the same fabric. And it's very quiet. The curtains are this beautiful soft sage green that pick up the print of the wallpaper. The bed is a 4-poster bed that I had at my house upstate before I sold it and moved down here. Brought in this vintage rattan chaise lounge with the beautiful fabric there for that corner. That fun monkey side table I found from a local dealer down here. So one thing I really love about this room is, again, the hand-painted floor. So this floor is beautiful. It's in the soft blue and green shades, hand-painted by Mary Mead in Atlanta. Picks up all the soft tones. It's very important that this room feels very, very restful, and it does. So it's great to lay in here. The morning light streams in beautifully. The bed looks great right now and very crisp, but there are 3 dogs that sleep with me, so it doesn't always stay like that. But this is just nice, classic Pratisi bed linens. These lamps I bought from a local auction house, and they just give a nice glow to the room with their silk shades. One of the best things about this house was the bathrooms needed very little work. Now, we did have to move the door and put in a sliding door, and I put in this vanity, but the tile was all original to the house. We painted it the same soft green as the trim of the bedroom. This big deep tub was here, so this room was really pretty much ready to go. Okay, let me take you to the dressing room next. I love this room. This was originally a bedroom, but I decided since I would prefer my guests to stay outside in one of the back cottages that I not have guests stay in the house, that I would have to turn this into a dressing room. So we put in these cabinets that are lined with the caning on the 4 corners. It's a great space. It's got a lot of storage. It's got a lot of natural light. It's a great place to just read, to get dressed, to prepare for the day, for packing your bags for trips. And it just overlooks the front of the house, so it just is a nice addition to this whole series of upstairs rooms. These beautiful chairs are pieces that I got years ago in New York. I had them reupholstered in this stark fabric, and I actually loved them so much I kept them as is, did not reupholster them again. They work great in here. It's a perfect spot to read a book, put on your shoes, put the dog collars on, whatever needs to happen. This lamp here is a vintage French piece. It is by Audemars Manet, I believe is his name, and I bought this locally. This is one of my favorite pieces in the house. It's probably from 1960s. It's all made out of sculpted rope with this green glass orb in the middle and the natural burlap lampshade. This here is Leo the lion. He's one of my most prized possessions. He's traveled around with me for years. I bought him at the New York Botanical Gardens show about 15 years ago. He is one of the few pieces I would actually grab and run out with if the house were on fire, besides the dogs. So come with me to the greatest part of the whole house, the outdoor terrace. My approach to floral design and how I design this home or an apartment in New York or my house that I had upstate, they're very similar. I really want to go for something that feels relaxed, that every piece in the house could actually be a conversation piece, but nothing fights. So it feels very curated. There's a lot of interesting things. There's old things, there's new things, there's layers. Layers is a very important word in all of my projects, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a birthday party, whether it's a home. And so that you can be in the environment, and there's a lot of moments of discovery. So as you look around, you notice, details that you didn't necessarily see at first, but nothing is overwhelming. Welcome to my outdoor terrace. This space is such a little treat. It's on the second floor. It overlooks the backyard. The best thing about this house, next to the bathrooms not needing work, was this tile that was already here. So I did not put this tile in. This tile was already existing. We just worked with it, created this wonderful outdoor room with a dining table, with seating area, found this vintage McGuire rattan chaise lounge set, and had these cushions custom made in the mattress style. And it's just a beautiful area to have cocktails, to have coffee in the morning, to visit with friends, to cuddle with the dogs, read a book. It's so relaxing. It gets a nice breeze up here. Or have dinner parties. It's a great place for dinner parties. So this piece behind me, as an ode to my love of all things English and the English countryside, is a dovecote. So these were created in the Cotswolds, and each one of these little holes is where a dove would go and make a nest. So I found this and brought it in. Thought it worked great there. It's a good conversation piece. This coffee table here was from a dealer down in West Palm Beach. It's this sort of Moroccan style, very large piece. It has the greens and the reds and the blues, picks up beautifully with the tiles existing. So it's a great piece, and it's also nice because of the scale is so large. I don't have to have a lot of little pieces, and it really grounds this end of the space. So over on this end, I put a dining table. This is a great space. It works great as a bar for a cocktail party or for an intimate dinner in the evening. This old wood table, there's nothing precious about it. It survives all the elements, and the older and the more beat up it gets, the better it looks. I found these vintage French bistro chairs that I've surrounded it with. Right now it's got a big old snake plant in the middle, but this has to come off if I'm setting it for dinner. But it's a nice cozy area to have a dining this area, lounge on the other side, and it really takes, again, a big space and breaks it into smaller usable rooms. What does the word home mean to me? Well, let's just put it this way. There's a famous expression that says, go big or go home, and I like to turn that around and say, why go big when I can go home? Home is very important to me. Home, my dogs, my relationships, like this is literally where my life is grounded. This is where I want to be. I can work here, I can sleep here, I can entertain here, I can have friends over. It's just, I can't express enough how important it is to invest in your living situation. It literally trickles down, not even trickles, it gushes down into the rest of your life, and just keeps you grounded.
Hello, Homeworthy. I'm Catalina. Welcome to my home in Dallas. Come in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
I am Catalina Gonzalez Jorba, and we're here in my home in Dallas, Texas, where I live with my 4 boys and my husband and my huge Bernese mountain dog. And I am the founder and designer of Dondolo. This home is very close to our hearts, to all my family's heart. My husband was the one who literally put on all the work. And we, first of all, when we started looking for a home that was closer to our boys' schools. And we looked for almost 3 years to find a home that actually had a backyard. Because, you know, we have 4 boys and they're always either playing football or soccer or in the pool when, you know, the weather allows it. So we wanted a big backyard, and it was impossible to find. Finally, COVID year, I walked into this home and I hated the insides. I was like, I don't like anything about it, but it has a huge backyard and I love that. So I immediately put an offer on it and then called my husband. I was like, we found a home. So he was very, very surprised because he hadn't even seen it, but also excited. So, and he was basically the GC for the home. He's been in commercial real estate and development all his life. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. And it was the best, you know, idea ever, because it was an amazing process for both of us. But also with our designers and architect, it was a beautiful, beautiful journey. So when we first walked the house, it was built in 2006, so it wasn't that old, but it really needed that soul. It was a very cookie cutter home, and it had a lot of dark wood everywhere. And it's not that I don't love dark rooms. We're sitting in one, but it needed more of a heart. And that's what we started doing. So we first did renovations to the house, and then we added another 3,000 square feet where we put our flex room. That's what we call it, but it's actually our entertaining room, which we dreamed about having. I love hosting parties. I love hosting big dinners. I love having friends and family over. So it is the best place to do it, and it's yellow. So it's the happiest room in the house, as I like to call it. And we also added our masters upstairs and closet. Welcome to my foyer. I'm so excited to have you here and show you around. This entry table was sourced by Seas, which is an antique, is my designers. And then I have a really fun story about this champagne chiller. I actually got it around top not too long ago. And I saw it with orchids and I was like, how fun it will be to have it just, you know, in my entryway. And then this is from estate sale. You know, who else loves finding like fun treasures at estate sale? I love it. Like my husband always tells me I love old lady stuff. So I do. I love it so much. And then this incredible wallpaper. So I always dreamed about having kind of like the outdoors brought in. And I believe this wallpaper does that. So it was completely custom made by Gracie Wallpaper. I took out some of the palm trees that were included in the original and then added more white florals throughout. So yes, I love it when I walk in. I thought at some point that I was gonna get kind of tired of seeing so much wallpaper in my life, but I actually enjoy it very, very much. So nothing that you see came with the house. This floor, it's, you know, how we place it, it looks, I don't know, I love the texture of this floor. You know, the black and white is very traditional, but at the same time, goes really well with all the black details around the house, which I love. And this rug is antique Asian rug that the designers found for me. And I love it so much because it leads into the kind of purple burgundy tones that also are throughout the house that I'll point out. So one other thing about this room is the entryways to the dining room and the formal living. The arches and all the woodwork, it's very special to us. And it was all custom made by our architect, Harris, which we love. So going with all the arches and trying to reflect the arch in the front door, that also goes through the 2 other hallways from our entryway. And now I'm gonna take you to my dining room, which is one of my favorite places in the whole house because I love tablescaping. And that was a thought that I had when, putting together the design for this dining room. First of all, the silk wallpaper. At first, we were, the designers and I were thinking about something very fun and different. And then I was like, no, I need like literally something very subtle that I can actually put a lot of color on the table and florals and details and make it really fun. So basically, this is a very calm, soothing room for me. I showcase all my Mari plates collection that I love. So all the details on the top of the building were custom made for us, and it kind of represents like a shell of some sort. I love to think. I love the ocean, so I try to bring it to my home in little details here and there. The chandelier is so important in this room. It was actually one of the first things that we got even before we even start remodeling, which my husband, I bought the table and the chandelier with the designers, with C's in one, shopping outing. And my husband was like, but we don't even have the house yet. I was like, well, it's okay. We'll have a chandelier. So it's a Murano chandelier and it's gold and it goes really well with all the details on the walls. And the chairs, they're super fun. And I actually found them at Round Top. And I didn't even have to change the paint color because it was perfect. They were from a country club in Denmark, which I also thought that was really fun as well. And we were looking for something that wasn't that tall and had a lot of form in them. And then we picked an amazing fabric with Sarah from C's to reupholster it, and it worked out really, really well. And it has the gold details that also the table has, which I love. I love modern art and being able to have a Rebecca Ward here in the entryway, again with this burgundy and just purple details makes it really fun, and kind of like when you walk in, it looks super striking and exciting. So the table was one of the first buys with the chandelier, and it has a glass, like opaque glass on top, like a vintage antique glass on top, which makes it so fun to dress because everything reflects on it. So all the glassware you put on it reflects. I love it so much. Again, I love Lalique. I think they're so fun, and it reminds me of my mom and of my own home. So having it at home is very special to me. Again, with the old lady things. And I love Michelle Rawlins, another woman painter. Her detail is incredible, and I especially love it here with the blush silk wallpaper. So the window treatments in this room were also picked to make it very elegant and soothing. So again, the fabric on the top really complements the fabric of all the chairs, the upholstered fabric of the chairs, and I love that. And then this silk is so pretty. I love fabrics. I love texture. So, and every window treatment in my house is lined with this pin strip that makes it even better because from outside you can look in. That was my designer, Sarah. So I loved it as well. And then in here we have a jadro. Again, it reminds me of a home. Reminds me of, of all the things that I couldn't touch around my mom's formal living room. And a tea set. I think everybody needs a silver tea set. And I love kind of like that, the mix of like very old traditional things that I'm gonna pass to my boys with that contemporary art. we decided to wallpaper this door, but the fun part about it is that it leads into the kitchen. So our home, if you ask me how it will be described, is a mix between new and old. We love antiques. I love antiques, and I love, like my husband tells me, old lady stuff. I do love Lalique, love Jadro, love all the tiny Imari plates, all of it. So we were very, very lucky to find designers like C's. Corvin and Sarah work really close, and all their team, Allie. So we incorporated that antique part of the whole process, using very traditional elements, but also putting in like leopard carpet or, you know, some new art. I worked with our consultant Temple on all the art in the house. We love contemporary art. So we added to the house our personal collection of women artists, which makes it very new and vibrant, but also has the traditional feel of antiques and also traditional furniture, like couches and chairs done the traditional way, which Colvin, he's incredible at that, and he was a great source for it. In my home, you can see a lot of different prints and layering, which is what I believe makes a house interesting and soulful and gives it depth. So this is my kitchen. And I always have loved a really big island because I think that with a big family, everything gets put in this island. And right now it's very clean, but you know, in our everyday life, it's full of everything, you know, from backpacks to lunch boxes to schoolwork. All of the things are always on here. Things about this room that I love. The Delft tile was painted for us, custom. And here in the back, we have like the sea monsters and the boats. And then on our fireplace in the same room, we have all the mermaids, and there's actually 2 tiles of my boys playing in the ocean, which is very sweet, and I'll show you in a second. One of the things that I love about this room is the paint, how it has 2 tones, makes it super interesting. And you know, I love green. Green is one of my favorite colors, and there's a lot of green in this house, but the kitchen being green makes it very special. And it's, you know, it's one of those rooms that we're in a lot of time with the kids. I love the hood being copper with the brass elements. I think it also brings in the stairwell and, you know, all of those details from the house into the kitchen as well. So I love that very much. So I picked the marble for this countertop, and I love how, you know, it has a lot of green, but it also has like every tone of green in it and a little bit of blue. And I love how big it is and how much you can see of it. So it's one of my favorite things in this kitchen as well. And the boys sit all the time in the island just to, you know, whenever we're cooking and they're, you know, just eating dinner or eating a snack. And we're, you know, this is one of the places that we make the most memories with our family. I love cooking. I love to bake. So banana muffins are a favorite in my house that I have to do almost every week. Crepes on Sundays are a must. And I also love like cooking big dinners for my family and friends to come over and eat. So, you know, I have some of my mom's favorite dishes. I have a carrot cake that is famous within our friends. So when we host like smaller dinners that we host here at our dining room, I would actually lay out all of the appetizers here in the island. And then we either go through this door or through that door to the dining room for dinner. So it works really well for entertaining as well. So family time and entertaining. This is another built-in that is very dear to me because I love plates. every color, every shape, lettuce plates, all of the plates I love. So this gives me a little bit of, space to showcase them. And, these are plates that we use every day, which I love that they're so convenient here in our glassware. And then, it also helps me use my beautiful plates in an everyday life and not waiting for special occasions, but also use them, the more, the better, I guess. And I love these jars where I have all of my different, kind of, again, just daily sets that are easy to use, that the boys can grab. It's just very easy. We wanted to make this room, the kitchen and this living, a little bit more of that Spanish Mediterranean coast vibe of the house on the outside. So these beams were brought from Nebraska, and they were so heavy. My husband told me that he had to actually dig them up and then put them in because they were complete wood, which was kind of fun and exciting. But yes, and we wanted to make it, that nautical feel. So same with the drop lights, and then the beautiful chandelier, boat chandelier in the breakfast nook. That took almost 2 years to make. We custom made it, well, the designers did, Cis designed it, and we custom made it from an antique that is huge, and we custom made it into a smaller version for our breakfast nook. So I love flowers, and these orchids, I wanted like a big plate, which Noelle, a friend that has a store here, Noelle Pittman, I got this vase at her store, and then with all the beautiful flowers, I think it just kind of like centers the kitchen. I started Dondolo more than 10 years ago, and it has changed over time. It started being a website that only carried Pima cotton clothing, and then it became an actual seasonal line for children's that we sold in market. So it was 100% wholesale. And then it became what it is today, which is we are a retail shop that sells mostly online. We also have a little store in the design district. But I think the most important, and what for me is the most important about Dondolo, is the heart and soul, which is our gift bag, and all the women that we employ in Colombia. We employ around 150 women in the factory, and then plus another 50 who do all of the embroidery by hand. So every dress that you buy from Dondolo that has hand smocking or hand embroidered is literally done by a woman, and she takes a day, sometimes 2 days, just doing one dress. So that's what is most special in the heart of the brand. And what is also special is seeing all the memories that our clients create with our beautiful pieces. And I love designing. For me, picking fabrics, putting a bow, putting a button that is a flower or a heart in a piece, it's my highlight. I love being able to mix prints and fabrics and textures. And I think a lot of that part of me, you can see it in the house, and I love that about it as well. Our biggest requirement in this breakfast nook as a family of 6 with 4 boys was that the chairs could be wiped down super easily, and same with the table, that we didn't have to be worried about dents or anything like that. So designers picked this amazing table that we love. It cleans super easily, and this incredible bench that is blue and really goes really well with all the window treatments that are plaid. And I love this blue plaid that also carries into our living. So again, kind of bringing that around. The boat, our chandelier, boat chandelier, which it was custom made for this space with the perfect, size, and we love it so much. And the wallpaper on top of it is actually zodiac signs all over it, so it's kind of like the stars. So again, bringing that nautical feel into this breakfast nook makes it very special for us. So the window treatments are super sweet. They bring, those bows. Again, I live in a house full of boys, but I'm very romantic, and everything that I create with Dondolo is very, just sweet. So Sarah from Seas wanted to bring that sweetness into these bring window treatments by adding those beautiful bows on them. So we're going into our living room, and where we spent a lot of time, in our day-to-day life. Again, this couch it's so good for us because, I wanted something that could be very comfortable for the boys, but also that could clean easily. So you guys, just the leather on that bag, it's amazing because my kids walk in every day and do this. And do this again. So being it leather is awesome because it doesn't get dirty. I don't suffer. It's making things also, they need to take care of things in the house just because it's good for them to grow up around beautiful things and to have that. But at the same time, making it easier for them, I think it's a huge deal. Again, the fabrics, I love being able to mix prints. And that's one of the things that in the house, I think my designers did an incredible job, Sarah, especially kind of showing me all these different prints that actually go really well together and coordinate, but they have, they're very different from each other. So we see it here, and we see it in these two chairs, that as a whole, it looks so beautiful together. But when you actually see it separate, you think, okay, how is this gonna work, right? I love this painting by here. It's by one of my best friends, and Carly Martin. She's an artist and awesome. And it's, it's kind of like our happy when we walk around this part of the home every day. To see it, and also the boys being able to see a friend that is a woman artist, it's awesome. Our fireplace is also a very special thing in this room because it has, yes, all the mermaids that were hand painting custom for us, but it also has, two of the tiles are boys playing on the ocean, which is, super special to them and to us as well. The artist was a kind of like a surprise that she snuck in when she sent it to us. So I'm very grateful for that. All of the tables in our coffee table mean a little bit of something to us and are ready for the kids to kind of open and look through them. Cartagena, I grew up in Cartagena, Mexico City. That's where my husband grew up in. Again, Landon Metz, this painter above the fireplace. And Italy's where Santiago and me, my husband and I, went last year. We do 2 trips a year, just the two of us, just kind of like to, have some time for us. And last year's was in Italy. And that book was gifted to us, and it was very special. So all the florals that you see today throughout my home were done by Nolan from Bottega de Flores. He's awesome. He's an artist. He takes flowers and arranges them in such a way that is so beautiful and interesting to the eye. And then the base, I got it at a estate sale. I was like, today I'm looking for bases. I need some new and fun ones. And I found this one, and I think it's the perfect height, to showcase. These beautiful planters, kind of like the wicker, going back to that, on the ocean vibe of this room. Sourced by the designers, and I love how, these plants look on them. They bring life into this room, and the sconces are so fun, and they're, again, kind of thinking that boat life, which we love. So, and I love how this chair is so different and an antique, and the other 3 in the room are not. And they just have incredible leather or different prints, and they'll talk to each other in a way that is very interesting in layers. And I also love how this wicker chair that is actually plastic and super durable and perfect for children goes back to the ones in the breakfast nook. And it's awesome because whenever we do not fit, we can always move the chair back there. So the floors in this room were one of the first things that we picked. And we wanted, again, to pick something that felt very like Spanish and bring homage to, you know, the house, the original house that we basically didn't keep anything of, but that style. And they're terracotta. They're literally a couple of colors of terracotta put together, and it looks very authentic. And now I'm gonna take you through this hallway that is very dear to me because it has a lot of history of our, you know, wedding and our, you know, anniversaries. All this religious art was gifted to us on our wedding day, and my mother-in-law keeps adding to the collection every year. It's from an artist from Barcelona, and it's very dear to us. So being able to have it here and go past it every day makes it very special for the boys and I. And also the lighting. I love the arch hallway and how the light shoots out and kind of illuminates the whole place. And now we're gonna go to the bar, which you can go to it from the dining room, which is right here. Use this little hallway and go into the bar to get drinks. It's a beautiful high gloss, like blue greenish color that makes it even warmer and, you know, ready to have an old fashioned in here. The stone, it's super pretty. The marble on top, it has a little bit of those tones of burgundy that also has the outside, the rug and the painting of Rebecca Ward. And all of the tile is like mirror tile, which makes it really fun and reflective. And then on the ceiling, we have this mirror wallpaper that with little stars that makes it very cozy as well. In here, we have this bench, you know, to sit while you get a drink, maybe. And it's an antique, and it also has this beautiful fabric that I love. And it kind of goes on the sides with another one. So again, that mix of prints that I love. Sarah from Seas nailed it on these two fabrics. I love them so much. And this painting right here, the temple my advisor helped me get. I love how, you know, it's kind of like this flowers, but in a bigger scale, and the round shape. I think it's so different too for this space. So our friends that know where our bar is, they just come in here and prepare, you know, we have a friend that he comes here and gets old fashions for all of us. You know, we love tequila as well. We love to sip on good tequila. So that's another thing that our friends also know we have here, and it's ready to be poured. I love, you know, all the glasses. I love all the color glasses. I have all the color glasses from Stell, and I keep them in here, and, you know, just a mix of fun colors. And, you know, I just got this vintage ones, great for tequila, I thought. But, you know, I got these ones at a estate sale, and they're aperitif baccarat, and we use them for tequila, you know. We also have these fun ones from Stell, some old-fashioned glasses that we love. They're this brown color, very fun and different. These tulip glasses I love as well. They're pink and yellow, and they're hand blown, super special, super light. And now I'm gonna take you to our yellow room where all the parties and big dinner parties happen. So I love color, and how I always tell my husband is that I don't think in numbers, I think in colors, literally. So I love flowers. I love to create like spaces and tablescapes and clothing that actually feels visually comfortable and happy to everyone that sees it, especially for my family, starting from myself to my family, to everybody else who buys Dondel clothing. But here at my home, how you see it, I think it's every space or every little corner has a detail. And I think details are the most important part of the house, and also of Dondolo, and also of myself. Like when I get dressed, I love picking shoes that will tell a story. You know, I love picking jewelry that, you know, will coordinate with what I'm wearing, but also that I feel very comfortable and confident in it. So I think the details is what tell a story. A fringe in the couch that I just turned around while I was sitting here, and there's a green velvet sofa with gold fringe that with the carpet, leopard carpet, looks, you know, just tells a story. So I love that about details. And the first stop in the yellow room is this beautiful bathroom that I love because of all the different colors and how they contrast together. I love kind of like the wicker wallpaper that goes all the way to the ceiling, and the marble green that kind of ties with all the green in the house. And I also love the yellow door that on the back, it's a burgundy. So again, bringing the burgundy around the house as well. And all of the built-in is burgundy as well. And the tile is green. So basically yellow, burgundy, and green kind of mixed all together. So this is my yellow room. I wanted a yellow room for so long, and it's like, because yellow is happy, right? Yellow is joyful, yellow is celebration. So I wanted this room to literally do that. So on all the built-in, I only have like tablecloths and napkins and that I've collected throughout the years. And you know, I brought this big table here because I wanted to sit, you know, 14 people and do bigger dinners, but also have this, we've used it for the boys' birthday parties. We've used it for trunk shows. We've used it for so many incredible things that bring people together that I love it so much. The paintings are prints by Virginia Jaramillo, who's a woman painter from the 70s. So she wasn't very well known until a couple years ago, that then she kind of boomed and books were written because of her. So she's incredible and awesome, and I love her pieces in this room, how they bring, you know, again, all those colors in from the house. So these bookcases kind of show truly kind of like what we love as a family, you know, and they're a representation too of us with lots of pictures of our loved ones. My dad is in here, my father-in-law is in here, us on our wedding day, and we have like vases from Italy that we have brought. We had other vases that are so fun and different, and also the shells everywhere. We love the ocean. We love being, you know, reminded of the ocean in our daily life. The corals around it are super fun as well. And the vintage books, and the designers played a lot on this, arranging it together and put it all these special pieces in it. A lot of vintage birds that I got at a estate sale as well. So it's kind of like the old and new horses. My dad loved horses. My son loves horses. I love horses. So it's kind of like the new and old, and kind of like what we love as a family. So the lamps, we have 4 in the room, and I love how, you know, it looks very much like perfect for the room, but it also kind of like divides the light up as well, making it very warm as well. So I love that about it. The table, this was one of the things that we brought from our old home, and I love it because it fits so many people. So, you know, I love keeping it. And then we added the wicker chairs to kind of bring more of that living room to here as well. We love fireplaces. We put them on a lot during the winter. You know, I feel like Texas, it's so fun to just, you know, turn it on in a random day, because it could be spring and still be very cold, right? So we love having fireplaces around the house to be able to warm up. One of the things that I love about the window treatments in the whole house is that they have a lot of me, in terms of like how They have the ruffle, and that again, Sarah from Seas was incredible to put it at. And then this fabric is so beautiful, and it has yellow in it. It has that brown, a burgundy color on it as well. And this beautiful pleated ruffle. So we wanted to make this space also ready to, watch a game or, watch a movie with friends or, just the boys. So, they added this little table, side tables that fit all the books. I think they're precious and they're so fun. And the couch is super comfortable with all the yellow and brown pillows on it. Again, adding that contrast and the different types of fabric that I love. And then these stools are one of my favorites because they have like the little foot around them, and the boys love them. They use them every time that we're in this space, to put their feet up or just to sit. And the scalloped carpet is so fun, and again goes back to those more sweet romantic details of mine. What I love most about my home is how it brings my family, my boys and my husband together, and how it brings other people that we love together, friends and family. I love being able to create memories in this home. And I love that the home actually has spaces for us to create them. So that's what I love the most about it. We literally thought about this since the moment that we start, talking to the architect, but just how the house flows and how it has like a more intimate spaces for small groups of people. And for our family, what works for our family, like in the kitchen and all around it, how we can have those memories every day of our life is what I love the most about the house. And this is our library, formal living, a brown room, how we call it here at our home. I love this room for so many reasons. First, because it's, darker, which makes it a little bit more, adult in a way. So I love the lacquered brown walls and the gold wallpaper and how the chandelier reflects the light on it. I love that about it. And love how many seats you can get out of this room. So it's special when we're with friends and, some people sit over here, some others sits over there. There can be a couple of conversations going on at the same time. I love that about a room. Amazing women painter in the back, Corinne Lynn. Love it. The designers worked with me and I worked with my art consultant. So it came together beautifully is what I'm trying to say. Fireplace, it's an antique fireplace. They assembled it together here. It only had a couple of pieces and then they put it all together from petite. It's so beautiful and it brings that, again, that burgundy color into this room with the browns, which I love. These two yellow stools were reupholstered in this yellow, beautiful fabric silk. And I think they add kind of like that vibrancy to this room and also ties this room to the yellow room. I love this lady, sort of a Virgin Mary from Italy. I got it at Ellis Hill with Margreta. And I love how it looks next to this beautiful, the velvet couch with the French gold fringe at the bottom. I love how when we worked with Seas, with the designers on each piece of furniture, we worked out of fabrics and trims. And it's kind of like how I work for when I'm working for pieces at my collections at Dondolo, kind of like putting together, the trim of the back of this couch and the little other trim that goes on the, on the sides of it, and then the fringe, and then seeing it all together at the end was literally a magical process because I've never, been through the journey of creating furniture. So it was really spectacular to see from like pieces of fabric to this. Another thing that I love about this room is the rug, the leopard print rug. I think it adds so much fun and texture and layering to the room. And as coffee tables or side tables, we actually have 4 completely different pieces. But I love how different they are and how they mix together. So this one is an antique, and then that one is an antique as well. And this too, you know, the side brown table and this white one are from very modern furniture designers. This one has little legs, which I love, this white one. And it makes it very interesting and different. I love this chase right here with all the pillows on top. Bosco also loves it, by the way. We need to keep him because we used to find it all covered in fur. But, you know, just kind of laying here and just, it's so comfortable and fun, even to read a book or, you know, just hang. It's beautiful fabrics. They're soft and, you know, just very special nook. Okay, and now we go upstairs. So I think what gives home a soul is the details and the people that live in it. I think that, you know, our home is a reflection of who we are as a family. And I feel that when you feel comfortable and when you walk in a home and you feel that it has that warmth, is because it has a soul, because everybody in the home feels so comfortable making themselves feel at home and feel happier, that, you know, that energy carries, you know, throughout the home. And we're here in my office where the Dondola magic happens. And I love this room so much because it's huge inspiration for me. The wallpaper, for example, we worked with Degrenay to add the blue herons to this wallpaper they do, because I love birds and I felt it needed some blue to go with my art piece right here by another woman, Susan Well. She's amazing, and this was a huge part of this room as well and source of inspiration. Again, the carpet with all the pinks and the texture. I love, like, you know, just walking barefoot through this carpet. It's so magical. And the furniture, like this beautiful couch, was created by the designers. And with the fabric, the little bows, again, bringing back that romantic part of me and putting it into furniture around the home. I think those details is what give a home soul. So I love it so much. Again, all my books, and then all of the photographs. I love the photographs of my boys and our family while, you know, how we've been growing throughout the years, and the vintage and antique pieces that I've collected, and it's very special. This chandelier I love so much, and especially because all of the ceiling is painted the same pink as all the trim and the wood and the built-ins, so it makes it pop even more. It's a Murano chandelier and it's pink, you know, like I just fell in love with it since the beginning. So my desk is an antique. I love it. There's a problem though. I cannot open a couple of drawers. So, you know, I need to call someone. But other than that, the chair, I love this fabric on it. It's so soft and comfortable. And it reminds me of corals, which again, I love the ocean. So love it in here in this room because it brings it a little bit too. So a lot of people ask me, like, how could I have all this nice furniture, the velvet sofas and the chairs, and, you know, with 4 boys and a big dog, and, you know, just a lot of craziness around us every day of our lives. For me, I always respond that boys also love beautiful things, and it's good for boys to grow up appreciating and loving beautiful aesthetics. beautiful art and get that part in them, alive. Because if you don't start it as a child, then as an adult, it doesn't come easily, or, you have to work for it. So you can have nice things with boys, and with 4 boys even. I think that raising them around beautiful things and teaching them the respect that you have to have for, things, and also translates into people and into art, and also, just learning that things can be aesthetically beautiful and you have to take care of them. I think that's very important. And I think that if you start from a young age, they realize that, they love being able to be in a beautiful house. And this is the sitting area on our bedroom. I love the degradé wallpaper in here. It's so soothing and beautiful. And again, I wanted something very calm and happy, with a lot of details, of course, but for our bedroom. I love this silk window treatments, and I love the top part of it. It just flows really well with the whole room. This desk is an antique, and I have all of our cards with our names just to write a card, And then we have this little sitting area, which has worked so well for our family, because this is where, the boys will come and sit for a little bit before, going to bed, read. I've loved it to read during the day. It's one of my favorite spots to do it. And I also love the art in here. So kind of like that contrast between the light wallpaper and then the dark floral art, and how it goes with the zebra. And right off the sitting room, I can take you to our bathroom. It's cozy. We love the mirrors. We love the antique mirrors on the back. And then with these beautiful mirrors on top, I think it adds so much character to the whole bathroom. Again, we picked the pink marble tops, which I love. And then we added these little curtains underneath, inspired by Santiago growing up going to his grandfather's house. And we just literally needed more space for, putting all the things that you put in the bathroom. So we loved it. All our towels were done by Leontine Line Linens. She's awesome. So, the beautiful monograms, our bathtub. I love like the cornice too with the bathtub. Oh yeah, and the wallpaper, the striped pink. Everybody was like, oh, and what does Santiago think about the pink wallpaper? And I think pink is a very neutral color. It's very romantic and feminine, but it's also very neutral. And especially when it goes to that mauve-like tone, I think it's very neutral and I love it. And then this fun detail, these tools I got in Round Top not so long ago. And, they're from the 70s, a designer from the 70s, furniture designer. And we've been loving them because we needed somewhere to sit, put shoes on, put, a towel or whatever, some space. And then the tile, I love the pink on the tile. It has a little bit of a light pink on it, and it's so fun and beautiful. And now we're headed to my closet. So what I love the most about my closet is the color. It's the same one from my office space, in my closet. And I love it so much. It's peaceful. Again, like I said, I think pink is a neutral. And then all the wallpaper is seagrass, but it's like a pinkish color, which adds, just that, the same tonality of all over it. And I love that all of my dresses are covered. I have some gondola dresses from this spring, and they're ready to be packed for my next summer vacation. So I always wanted a closet like this that, I love getting dressed. I love coming up with outfits last minute. I am not good at, planning an outfit a week before. I'm great at being like, oh, we have this dinner. Okay, what could I wear? And, just come up with it in the minute of it. I feel that it comes up way better than when I plan it. So I love, kind of like picking a dress first and then going with accessories, my scarves, if I need a hat, and then going to my shoes. So let me show you my shoes. So I didn't own any, cowboy boots, but, Lizzie, Miron Crosby, Lizzie and Sarah. So now I own a lot of cowboy boots, and then, city boots. I also own some. I love supporting my female friends, entrepreneurs. But I also love a good cowboy boot. I think they're awesome. So this is our playroom, and this is the place where the boys spend the most time playing, especially with friends. They come in and, they have everything in these drawers, and they just, pull it out and just play, and then, pull it back in. Sometimes it doesn't always go back in there, but, we're learning. But this is a great, place for them to grab books and to grab board games. We have all our board games right here. And these are antiques that I got from Roundup as well. And this art piece was done by Carolina. She's an incredible artist, and she does all with black ink and also some red and burgundy. So beautiful. But I wanted some animals so that it could go into the wallpaper in their study area, which has that beautiful animal wallpaper, like African wallpaper. I wanted to tell a story. Same with the carpet in here, that is a tiger. And all of this furniture, it's actually outside furniture that we decided to use inside an Idea of Seas, which has been incredible because we don't have to worry about it being clean, about, it being damaged. It's just beautiful and easy to maintain, which is so, so fun. So one of the things that I always, try to teach my boys is that, yes, we need to take care. And again, this is their playroom, so there's not a wide couch in here. It's all outside furniture that it's good to upkeep. But at the same time, I want them to be exposed to like art and beautiful, special things that I find, because I also want to tell them, for them to learn that beautiful things, you take care of beautiful things. Same with these ones that I found that they're antiques, and they know, and they will take care of it. And it's a process. So I think that you learn it throughout the years. So this is an extension of our playroom, and probably one of our most important rooms in the house, because this is where the boys do their homework and where they do all their crafts. So again, it's fun. It has an amazing wallpaper, but is also very easy for them to maintain with all the labeled, boxes for crafts, for pens. And I tell you, they do a ton of crafts in here. They love it. My 13-year-old just finished that huge roller coaster Lego, and we love it. And it's in here that we, kind of showcase their art. And then I take it all down every season and then start putting them again. So we have all our little bistro curtains right here that lead to our courtyard. And, this special and beautiful details are the ones that I love my boys to be exposed to in their daily lives. Home is sacred. Home is where I ground, and where all of us, like all of my boys and my husband, ground with me. It's our place for feeling peace and joy at the same time. So basically, being together and at home is when we feel complete. So home for us is being, complete and happy.
Hey Homeworthy, my name is Joanne and this is Rocky. Welcome to my home in Dublin, Ireland. Come on in, I'll show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Joanne Mooney and I'm a content creator, and welcome to my home in Dublin, Ireland. I've lived in my home for 20 years, so we moved in 2004. It's a new build actually, so we bought it off the plan, so it was complete blank canvas. The painters actually painted all the walls magnolia, which is, obviously I'm not a fan of magnolia if you look around my house. So it took me a few years to put my stamp on it. It has changed a lot over the years. I love change, I love decorating my home, but it was a magnolia house to start off with, but we made a quick change about that. I would describe my personal style as playful, fun, colourful, eclectic, just a mix of everything. I don't have a name or it's a real eclectic mix of lots of different designs. I love to clash patterns. I'm not a matchy person. You know, I'd love to match like red and pink and unconventional colours that maybe you wouldn't think would go. And I get such a buzz from interior design and decorating my home. And I'm a firm believer that our surroundings affect how we feel, so it's really important to me that I'm surrounded with lots of colour and style, and it just makes me happy. Welcome to my kitchen. This is a 1-year-old kitchen, so at the back of the house is north facing, so it's quite dark, so I opted for this gorgeous butter yellow colour on my presses, so I have sunshine in my kitchen all year round. And we've got really nice earthy tones and oak island, and I love it. It's always really bright when I come here, no matter what time of the day it is, and I've got really nice lighting. And also some plates are too nice to be in a cupboard, so I have all my favourite plates on a plate wall here. So this is a really good idea for a feature wall in your kitchen, and it's just really colourful and I love how it looks. This is my favourite plate. It's actually the smallest plate on my wall. It's actually a tea bag dish, but it's so unlikely that I would hang this on my wall, but this is probably my favourite one. But I do kind of change them around a lot. If I've been on holidays, I love to buy a present for my house, and I bought some really nice plates in Portugal, so when I'm away I like to bring home like really nice plates. So I do change them around quite a bit, but yeah, I would say that was my favourite, my little tomato. I was in Portugal about 2 years ago and I was hugely inspired by the tiles over there, but my budget I couldn't afford them basically. So I found somewhere in Dublin here in Ireland that sold tiles that were very similar to the ones I saw in Portugal. So that's, when I'm on holidays, I am always inspired for you know, ideas and colours for my home. So that's where this idea came from, and I thought the blue goes really well with the kind of butter yellow cabinets on the kitchen. And also I love this reeded glass. It's also called fluted glass, where you can kind of see all my cutlery, which is also very colourful, and I just think that's a really nice feature. It kind of reminds me of the 70s, but it's definitely making a comeback, and also very timeless. So that would be another huge favourite part of my kitchen. This is a small pantry, so you can hide all your junk in here and no one can see it. So my washing machine and my washing powders here, and my gas boilers here. And these presses aren't the same colour as the other presses. This is called Sulking Room Pink by Farrow & Ball, so it's like a pale dusty pink, and I think it really complements the rest of the kitchen, the kind of yellow buttery colour. I've got, this island is absolutely massive, but it's got really good storage in it. So I've got really deep drawers at the front and presses at this side. So it is brilliant for storage and I really love it. And I went for kind of an oak, earthy kind of colours here, an oak base to match in with these gorgeous LVT luxury vinyl tile oak floors that I got in the kitchen that runs into the dining room. These are from Mullen Lighting, which is an Irish company that make the most gorgeous lights. The wall light is also from them, and it's got a dimmer on it, so in the evening times, you know, you can kind of turn it down to get a nice ambience if you're having dinner at the island. But the lighting is really gorgeous and I love it. I love how they drop down with the gold pendants. This these windows were originally white PVC windows, and I painted them the same colour as the cabinets, and I got my builder to put this big frame around the window, because initially I wanted a bigger window in here, but I couldn't afford a bigger window. So we just framed it to give the optical illusion that I have a bigger window in the kitchen, and it all blends in with the rest of the color of the presses. But I really love that. That's probably one of my favorite. And I absolutely love my cafe curtain. I sewed these myself. I made these curtains. So I'm learning how to sew. So I always like to put something that I make myself in my home. I would definitely say don't be afraid to use color in your home, especially in your kitchen. When I was looking for a new kitchen, the showrooms all had kind of grey, navy, green, white, and I wanted a yellow kitchen, so I found it hard to get the colour I wanted. So eventually I did find a really good kitchen company that told me I could have any colour I wanted. So I think outside the box and be a little bit experimental. You don't have to go full, you know, I know most of my kitchen is yellow, but you could maybe just have your island a bright colour and then go kind of muted tones on your presses. So it doesn't have to be, you know, you can introduce colour like in small pieces. These are little ceramic LED lights that I picked up for my kitchen, and they're really nice at night time. So this is textile art that I made for my kitchen. It's called Punch Needle, and I just thought this quote is really funny, and I have a thing about tomatoes, so it adds a nice little pop of colour, a pop of red, an unexpected red theory into my kitchen, and I really love how it looks in here. It really blends in with everything. Actually, it doesn't blend in like everything else in my house, but I love it. I really love it. This area was a dining room, so I had a table and 6 chairs in here, and we never used it. It was a waste of space. So we decided when we got this new gorgeous kitchen that we would turn it into a snug. So I have 2 gorgeous sofas in here, my canary yellow Chesterfield velvet sofa, and then this beautiful green. And I just got this coffee in a antique shop, and it was really in a bad way, and I kind of brought it back to life. And we spend so much time in here as a family, especially if I'm cooking, you know, and people can be sitting there waiting. So it's a really nice area that we get loads of usage out of. It's very dark, which is why I have so many mirrors in it, because they reflect the light, and it makes it, kind of gives it the illusion that it's a bit brighter than it is. So that's why I've got so many mirrors in here. It's not because I like looking at myself, but I really love this. And I love the little drinks trolley that I got in a charity shop as well. That was only like €10, and I just kind of sprayed it gold, and it's a nice little feature there. So I really love this room, and we use it so much more now. This is Punch Needle. Now, I didn't make this, so I'm not this good, but I bought that, and I just love how it looks. And I just love the whole mix of colours, and nothing matches. This is the most comfortable pillow you could ever have, because you can just like, you know, it's like a headrest. But yeah, and this is such a deep sofa, and so you need loads of pillows on it just to make it comfortable. And I think the pillows really make it, and this one as well. I kind of went for a muted mustard with this. I really love that stripe one as well. So yeah, no, it's a really cozy little area that I love to sit down here and chill out in the evenings. I got that from my husband's late grandmother's house, and I just punch needled it. So that's all wool, and I just think it adds a really nice texture to it, and it's really, really funky. You know, it's got like really nice textures. So yeah, I would try and punch needle anything. I love to put handmade things into my home that I make, because it just makes it so special and so unique, because you wouldn't see that in a store or anywhere, you know. It's just so unique to me. Yeah, that rug is from IKEA, and I think it just zones off this area really well, so it kind of gives it a whole complete separation from the kitchen. So it's quite small, but I really love the kind of checkerboard. But yeah, gorgeous. It can't beat IKEA. Really nice. And then I have this really nice poof as well. I wanted another chair in here, but I really didn't have much space. So the poof is great, and it's so easy to move it around if we need to. Okay, this green is Lick Paint, and it's called Green 09, and it runs through my whole house. I am obsessed with this color. It is a really rich, dark green, and I really, really love it. So when I first painted the paneling, I loved it so much that I just have it in every single room. So there's a continuity in the house that I have this green everywhere. I love this mirror. I bought this in The Range, which is one of my favorite shops, but this was cream when I bought it, so I sprayed it this gorgeous red. I had to mask and cover all the mirror, and then I sprayed it, but I just think it's a really nice feature. And I move this around my house all the time. I have it here today, but sometimes I have it in that room. But it's just a really nice feature in here. It's really nice. And I think you can have mirrors anywhere. And as I said before, this room is quite dark, so it's really important that I have lots of mirrors in to reflect the light. I started an Instagram page in 2018 where I was just kind of documenting, say, if I was wallpapering, and I would film it, and there seemed to be quite an interest in it because people were kind of afraid to try things themselves at home, and then maybe I was experimenting with colour, so it kind of became a little bit of an inspirational page for people who are on a journey maybe decorating their homes. So I was kind of sharing tips and tricks and just ideas and how I mix my colours and how I hung wallpaper on the ceiling and how you do it. So it kind of started off more like a DIY page, and then it kind of, I started working with brands, and I got a lot of magazine shoots and interviews and things like that, and it kind of grew into a full-time career, which I absolutely love because I get to be creative every single day in my job, which is like a dream job for me. Right off my kitchen is my living room. Come on in. Welcome to my living room, and this is my gorgeous Shih Tzu Rocky. Say hello. Say hello. Good boy. The thing I love about this room, there's a few things actually, but I'm obsessed with this wallpaper. It's relatively new. It's Dado Atelier, and I just love it. It's just so nice. And I used the colours in this when I was decorating this room, lots of blues and reds. This green sofa, I didn't think it would actually match in here because it's not really a colour I would put with blue and red, but actually I really, really love it. And I made these cushions myself. My gingham, I have an obsession with gingham, like unhealthy obsession with gingham. As you can see, I'm wearing gingham trousers. But yeah, so also I have a drinks cabinet over here, and this was painted. It had like 3 or 4 layers of paint on it, and I actually stripped it down. And when I was doing it, I saw this gorgeous walnut wood underneath. So it's just a really nice feature in here. I worked so hard to get it back to its original colour, so that's something that I really love. And also I love this artwork here of this little dog that I got in a vintage shop. And also I painted the windows in here blue. So these were originally white PVC, and I painted them this blue just to blend in with everything. So yeah, no, I love this room, and it's such a bright room as well. So we always come in here from the kitchen in the evening time. They are also from the range where I bought my mirror. I love curtains, and I think the soft furnishings in here, because the blue can be a bit cold, so it was really important that I had lots of soft furnishings, really nice rugs and cushions and really nice curtains. This rug is from Toe Rug To Go, and I designed this rug actually myself, and I was absolutely honoured to be asked to design my own rug, and it's everything I love. It's got scallops, it's got a pop of red, and of course it's got the gingham. So I was really excited about this collaboration, and I got the first one for my own home. I love this sideboard. So originally it was a really dark coloured wood, and I painted this lovely blue colour, and I stenciled these gorgeous little flowers on it. It's been such a long time since I stenciled. I forgot how to do it, but once I got into it, I really enjoy doing it, and I just think it looks so nice. It's so much better. A good tip I would give people if they're decorating their homes is when they're wallpapering, because I think people are afraid to wallpaper. It is quite daunting, but I'm very much I don't care if I make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. But when you're wallpapering, I would always say to people, measure twice and cut once. What I love most about my home, there's so many different things. I have a studio upstairs because I am a textile artist, and I teach punch needle, which is a craft that I learned myself about 4 years ago. So I do workshops where I teach it, and I have a studio upstairs, and it's my craft room, and there's no rules. I know you look around my house and you think there's no rules anywhere, but that was the one room where I can have free reign to decorate, and I've got stripes on the ceiling, and I spend more time in that room than I do in the kitchen, because it's the room I go into to sew, when I'm doing my punch needle, if I'm painting, and that would definitely be my most favourite room in my house. Okay, next I'm going to bring it into my studio. Come on. Come on in here now. This is a feast for the eyes. My studio, look at the ceiling. We've got a stripe, pink and white stripe ceiling. I just use masking tape for this and painted on the stripes. But this is the room where I probably spend a lot of my time. I have my sewing machine here, and I have my embroidery machine and some of my art that I've made. I have a bit of an obsession with wool. I have a lot of wool. And I have also got a little obsession with pom-poms. I have made this pom-pom jacket that I wore for one of my very first textile art exhibitions last year. And it's just made of pom-poms. Like, how cool is that? So I make textile art, and this is some of the art that I've made. And I teach it as well. So this is called punch needle. And up in this room, I could set up my humongous frame and make some art like this, or I have this gorgeous embroidery machine, and I like to embroider things onto clothes or cushions or make something for my house. And I also have, I'm learning how to sew, and my two daughters got me a sewing machine for my birthday, and I have that sewing machine there. So I kind of come in here and I close the door, and it's a total escapism for me, because when I'm being creative, I'm just switched off from the rest of the world. So I could spend hours in here, and I could be doing anything from a range of crafts, from sewing to embroidery to punch needle. So it's definitely my zen place. It's always messy though, I can never keep it clean, but that's a creative space, right? Definitely this embroidery machine is one of my favorite things to do, because I can embroider clothes, and I embroider my curtains. So it's just a new toy for me. So usually when I get a new toy like this, I get a bit obsessed with it, and then I'll probably move on to something else. But at the moment, my embroidery machine. About 3 or 4 years ago, I went to a workshop a friend of mine had, and she was teaching this craft, punch needle, and I just fell in love with the craft. And when I came home, I was just trying to punch needle everything and anything I could, and I just love the textures in the art. So punch needle is like drawing a picture and you're colouring it in with wool, and you can have all these different textures, and it's a really therapeutic craft. And that's why I like to teach it to people, because I think in the world we're living in now, everything is just so immediate and we're on our phones and technology. It's really important to take the time to sit down with these crafts and make something with your hands. So I love to teach it for that reason, and it's always a great day out. So this is a jacket that I punch needled. It says live life in colour, and never a truer word was said. Okay, next I'll show you my bedroom, so come on upstairs. On the way to my bedroom, I just want to show you this gorgeous gallery wall. It's a really nice feature, and my favourite picture is this one here, because my mum painted it and I made a tufted frame for it, and I just love the colours in it. Okay, come on. Welcome to my bedroom. As you can see, the green theme continues. Green is a very calming colour, and that's why I have it all over my house. So I really love it in here. And this bed actually was magnolia, and I painted it this gorgeous deep burgundy colour, and I think it really matches in with the green. These lights I got in IKEA, and I actually cut the electrical cable off them and just stuck them onto the wall, and I have like puck lights in here that are battery operated. It's a really nice way to kind of hide any wires that will be in the wall. So, and also I really love this lamp here. Again, it's green, but I love the base on it. Not really matching anything, but you know, that's how I roll. But yeah, no, this is a really nice bright room in the evenings, and I really like it. There's a gorgeous designer in Ireland called Carolyn Donnelly, and she's exclusive to Dunn Stores, and this is some of her bed linen, and I love it because it's reversible. So we have floral on one side and stripe on the other, so you can kind of turn them around whatever suits. And I do have a thing for stripes, as you can see also, but it's a really nice eclectic range from Carolyn Donnelly, and I'm a huge fan. So this is from her shop. The wallpaper is a little green, and it's, I can't remember the name of it, but I have that a couple of years, and it's a really neutral color, so I don't plan on changing this anytime soon, because it kind of matches with all different colors, because I do tend to change the bed color and the bed linen. So I really love that wallpaper too. And I've got really gorgeous green velvet curtains in here that kind of adds a little bit of luxury. So yeah, no, I really Love this room. I have this gorgeous velvet fringed light shade that I got from Amazon a few years ago, and of course it's green to blend in with everything else. I love this mirror. It's got a really chunky gold ornate frame, and also reflects a little bit of light because it's quite a small window in this room, so it's really, it's functional as well as aesthetic. And this is my ensuite. It's really small, but I still managed to put yellow stripes on the ceiling in here, because I always say your ceiling should be like a fifth wall. Why do we always paint our ceilings white? So a lot of the rooms in my house, I have like a little feature on the ceiling. The downstairs loo, I wallpapered the ceiling, and in here I just did yellow stripes because I just think pink and yellow is just such a nice colour. A really nice little vanity, kind of like a Belfast sink, and I have pink grout. Who knew that you could get coloured grout for your tiles? Pink grout on my white tiles. These are like Subway white tiles, and a really nice mirror with like Bluetooth lighting around it. It's small, but I think any room in your home, doesn't matter what size it is, it can still be gorgeous and colourful. And don't forget about your ceilings. I think it's really important that your home reflects your personality and who you are. And for me, 100, and I know there's other people live in this house as well, reflect all our personalities. So I really am a firm believer that your wardrobe as well is reflected in your home. So how I dress is reflected in my home. So it's really important that you know who lives in this house and you have your stamp on it and it's yours, and never listen to what anyone else tells you to do. If you like something, just go with it, because it's your house at the end of the day. You're living in it. Okay, next room is my daughter's attic bedroom. Let's go. Come on into the bedroom. So I made this headboard using my punch needle, and I just wrapped it around to a piece of MDF and stapled all around the back, and I painted on this kind of little squiggle just to make it look like it was a bigger headboard, because it was too small. And we have this gorgeous crochet. I don't know how to crochet, but my mum did this for us. So I just love the granny square crochet. It's just got such nice colours in it. And the beautiful wardrobes here, which are ideal because it's quite a small space up here. And we had to kind of think about storage. So we have the wardrobes kind of all around her bed. Again, gorgeous light coming in here and pink ceilings. So yeah, no, I really like this room. Okay, this is the mezzanine, and this is where my daughter does her college work. So it's a really small room, but we were able to utilise it to be a functional room for her to do her college work. And we also have this really gorgeous bookcase here that my husband's idea actually. Otherwise it would have been just a recess in the wall. So he's a reader, I'm not a reader, I don't read books, but these are all his books, and we needed somewhere to put them. So it was his idea to put in this bookcase, which I painted pink and painted the ceiling yellow. So it kind of all ties in with this gorgeous smiley face wallpaper, which is so fun. Home means to me when you go on holidays, like when I've been away and I come home and you put your suitcases in the hall, and you know that feeling you get, it's like, I'm home. Like, you can't bottle that, you know. It's a feeling for me, and I think I've created a home that when I come in, even if I've been out in the shops all day or I've been out, just that feeling when you come in the front door and you feel like, oh yeah, I can just take off my shoes and lie on the sofa, I'm home, relax. And I think it's really important that you can create that atmosphere in your home. Thank you, Homeworthy, for coming to my home in Dublin in Ireland. You have to go now because I need to go to my craft room. Bye!
Hello, Homeworthy. Welcome to Dublin, Ireland, to visiting my home. At last, an audience that I'm not going to bore to death talking about interiors. So come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hello, my name is Jenny Tompkin, and we live in Longford Terrace, which is in Monkstown, a seaside village in County Dublin in Ireland. So we bought this home in 2003. We bought this just before we got married, and we decided that we wanted to do a project. So bit by bit, we did the house up from the bottom to the top at different stages. Welcome to the entry hall, and it's no surprise that the entrance hall really sets the scene for what's to come, and this room really does set the scene. It really has everything that you'll see throughout the house, everything that I love, all the pieces in the colour and the mirrors and the ceramics, sculpture, art, plants. It has everything that you'll see throughout the house. So the entry hall, I mean, I suppose I didn't have any idea. It's just evolved. It's just evolved as passion has come into play in again what I'm drawn to and what I love. And this was just another room where I could express all of that. So the wallpaper, it's Charlotte Gaisford wallpaper. She's a UK designer, absolutely beautiful pieces, beautiful patterns and colours. As you can see, this is one of them. I saw it, I loved it, and decided I needed it in the house. So the hallway seemed like a really good place to have it. Again, setting the scene with the drama that is in it, and that's paired with Farrow Ball French Grey, which I think highlights it nicely. A lot of this art I found through a dealer called Dee Fahey, who owns a shop just down the road, and a furniture shop, a collector's shop, and as I said, she's a dealer as well. And talk about meeting my soulmate in interiors and in art and sculpture, and she is it. Whatever she finds and has, I tend to love, and so I have quite a bit from her. So a lot of the art came from her shop, which she sourced. I love the depth to them. I love the colour, the moodiness. And again, I talk about keeping things sort of collections together, so it's not too chaotic for the eye. And for me, these sort of work well, sit well together, and yet individually are beautiful pieces, and as a collective piece, I think work very well. The sculptures here, I mean, I didn't mean to have 3 of them, but I started with, this is bog oak. It's called the seal. It's 5,000 years old, and that's where the sculpture started. I think it's just a very beautiful piece full of history and personality. And then I stumbled across the other pieces naturally and over time. This is a 1960s piece. It just spoke to me, and again, this was one of Dee's finds, who had it in her shop, sourced it, and fell in love with it and had to have it. And this probably is my favourite piece, these beautiful, graceful ballet dancers, and what a perfect position for them to be in the entrance hall, where, you know, as soon as I arrive to the home, I'm seeing what I love, and this being one of my very favourites. This piece is an interesting one. It's an 19th century, it's called a nursing chair. So in the Victorian days, placed very low so that women with corsets didn't have to bend down to talk to their children, that they would just be able to sit very straight with their corsets and didn't have to bend over to converse with the children. So I love the idea of that, and even more so because it's in this beautiful floral fabric, which drew me to it more than the story, but I like the story that goes with it. This table was my grandfather's. It's a Robert Stratton piece, which originated in 1740, believe it or not, in Dublin, the city centre, and he made high-end furniture, and I think it's still going to the 1960s. So this is a Stratton piece, and was my grandfather's in his hall. So again, I remember it as a child. It brings back lovely memories, and it's just a beautifully crafted piece, which I'm delighted to have here. The use of mirrors. I love mirrors. I think that they're pieces of art in themselves. I think they bounce around light, they reflect things. So even when I'm here, I can see the beautiful mirror, I can see all this, and hey, I get to see my beautiful paintings as well, all from the one viewpoint. So again, you'll see that throughout the house. I use mirrors quite a bit in my interiors for the many reasons that I pointed out. Plants, oh my goodness, we have the most fabulous plant shop, lifestyle shop around the corner from here called Homeworthy Maze. It's a place that I go and visit and chat to them there, even when I'm not buying a plant, but I normally end up buying plants when I'm there. So again, dotted throughout the house, there's quite a lot of plants, which is from there, and these two in particular. And you know, they work and you need to look after them, but I love the green and the naturalness of plants in a house and in rooms, and you'll see more of that. So what drew us to this house was the period features, the elegance of it, the beauty of the outside and the inside, all the original features. A house like this, it doesn't really matter what you put into it, because the beauty of it without anything stands by itself. So it was a very easy house to fall in love with. And South County Dublin, I grew up down the road, so it felt a very natural place to settle down and have a family. I've always lived beside the sea, so again, we were so lucky that this is just on the seafront, so it felt like home. When we bought the house, we had, there was a lot of renovations that we did, but we did it up sort of piecemeal. So we started with this level. The kitchen was in a very small room down the back, so we brought the kitchen into this level, into this room here, made it more part of the house. And then we did up the next floor where we had to put bathrooms in and take away studded walls and ceilings that were brought down, and pipes that had to be put back behind into the attic and that sort of thing. So we did quite a bit of work, but as I said, it was done in 2-3 different stages. So coming in from the hall, I'm going to bring you into what is the cloakroom. It's the bathroom, but done up very much, some might think is a sitting room-like room, but I see every room as an excuse to decorate with all the things that I love and make me happy. So this is, as I said, I mean, it is essentially a bathroom, but we have put all our coats and shoes here. So it's a very well functioning and well worn room. The wallpaper is JP and Baker, and it's a chinoiserie type with birds and florals, and it's pink and green, my favorite color combination, as you can guess from this room. I love chinoiserie. I just think that the florals and the prettiness and the colors, they're just right up my street, and so you'll see plenty of chinoiserie themed pieces in the house, and this is no exception. A view from a loo, as this is, and I see every moment in the house to be a moment, and so sitting on a loo should be no exception, where you can see this beautiful antique rose painting, and my love of orchids, which seem to last here without you having to do very much to them and look very beautiful, and again bought from, gives me more excuses to go around the corner to Homeworthy Maze, where I can have a chat and buy an orchid or 10 as the case might be. I love Famille Rose, and this is Famille Rose pattern, a Chinese. The Famille Rose, I just love this piece in its size and the colours, again the pinks and the greens, and I just think it's very beautiful there. Maybe not very practical, but it's certainly there to be admired, which it is. And likewise with this piece here, again Famille Rose, and that's quite an old piece, and I love that you can see it when you come in through the front door. You look right through to this piece and beyond to the garden. So again, it's giving me joy as soon as I walk into the house to have this viewpoint. Rugs, I have a huge love of rugs. I think, again, another way to add colour and texture to a room, and you'll see them dotted around. And I love that it's blue. Everything else is pink and green, and yes, I have this blue rug, but you know, to me it works, and I love it. These antique plates, a set of 6 in garden florals. Miraculously, I got them on the wall without use of any sort of measuring tape, but I think they're fairly in line with one another and not too many holes behind them. And again, I just think they're beautiful and go very well with the room, and again, giving you a moment and a point of interest after you're washing your hands and leaving the room. And all of this, I will not open it. Everything has been shoved in for today. But this is very practical. And as I said, this is a working house and a working room. And this room is, to me, it's very beautiful, but it's also very well functioning. My personal style is exactly that. It's my personal style, and it doesn't fit. I don't want it to fit into anything. I don't want it to generalize it, in that it is just my style, and it is what we're going to see around the house. I love maximalism. I love floral. I love colors. I love pattern. Follow no rules. I just see something, I like it, and I know it's going to work. I really buy everything and have everything in this house that I love. That's what it's all about, because I think if that's what's in your house, it's always going to work, and it's always going to fit with all the other pieces that you acquire throughout the years. So the premise really of everything here is just things that I love. And that's why I think it works, because there's a common theme throughout, which is the stuff that, as I said, I really like. So take, for example, the colours, the pinks and the greens, the ceramics, the patterns, the floral fabrics, the rugs. There's a common theme throughout, but as I said, it's all based on what I am just drawn to from the inside. So let's go into the kitchen and the sitting room, where we spend a lot of our time, and follow me. So just coming in now into the kitchen and the sitting room, and I just want to say a little bit about this area here and about hanging art. Art doesn't have to go on walls. Who said art had to go on walls? Art can be anywhere that you have a good viewpoint of it. And I've run out of wall space, so I have to think creatively. And this is my thinking creatively. I absolutely love this piece. And to make it look a little less like it's been put into a corner for lack of anywhere else to hang it, I have from again Dee in Vintiques. Her husband Dave makes these fantastic wooden stands. And so it looks like now that it's meant to be there. And to be honest, being there is just perfect. It's better than a wall, because it gives me the viewpoint that coming down the stairs, I see it. As I'm walking through, I see it. So as well as on the walls, this is a really good place for art, in my view, to be. Likewise, high up over doorways. So again, coming down the stairs, I get a great viewpoint of this piece, which I might not get if it's at eye line, where, you know, the typical place to hang art. So again, it's about thinking creatively, and outside the box, and remembering that there aren't any rules. So whatever works for you, well, it works. So come on into the kitchen. So this is the kitchen, where we obviously spend an awful lot of time. Not always looking quite this neat, but for the purpose of Homeworthy, it's been cleaned up quite a bit. And again, it just demonstrates, I suppose, everything that I love in this house. It has any chance I get, I've added some colour, I've added florals, I've added fabrics, ceramics, paintings. It's got, I've kept the background. So, I mean, this kitchen is old. I think it's probably about 15 years old, if not even older. We've obviously repainted it and done work to it over time, but the core of it is still the same. And it's quite a neutral kitchen, so which allows, I think, again, not overwhelming the eye for me to go a bit nuts everywhere else, because it's a cream finish. And marble worktops, I think we purposely did, which reflects the light beautifully, and allowed me then to go crazy with everything else, which is exactly what I've done. So the wall colour it's a pink, again, my love of pink, but it's a very subtle pink. It's China Clay by Little Green. I think it's a really subtle neutral, and it's warm, and it gives off a different glow in the evening time compared to the daytime, which is just lovely for interest. Again, another love of mine. So we have the artwork, we have the rugs. I've talked about the mirrors. Well, plates is another one. All sorts of plates, the florals and birds and Victorian and Chinese and Japanese. So I have collections everywhere, particularly over here, over the archway here, another place to put my love of ceramics in this display here. I love that this is just full of colour, very practical, but a beauty to look at. I've never really understood plain ceramics or plain porcelain. It should always be like this in my view, and so there's not a plain mug in sight, but what a delight to get out a cup for the day, or however many are taken out, quite a lot with the amount of children in and out of this. So you can see that I have a love for a lot of things, and I suppose the way I try and keep that in some sort of restrictive way, so it's not too overwhelming in my view, is I group things, and I think that's a very good way of having a love for certain objects which you feel like you need to have a lot of. If you put them together, they are a bit more subtle. So you can see that in my use of plates. I have them grouped together here. So you're seeing one whole rather than all the individual ones dotted throughout. So they're much more impact. And likewise here, they're all together. So again, I'm allowing myself to display all my individual plates, but as a mass, it doesn't look, I hope, like it's sort of chaotic. I don't do anything small. So certainly 2 or 3 hydrangeas was never going to be enough. So this is stuffed full. I mean, it is literally stuffed full. I think some of it doesn't even fit into this old Chinese jug. So it's very much a centerpiece and full of dried flowers and twigs. I love dried flowers. I think you can get so much out of dried flowers without using fake flowers. It's much more natural. And then you can see my whole display. I love mantelpieces. It's a great place to put all the things that you love. So you can see the ceramics and the plants. And then some of the whimsy too, like these guys here. I bought these a long time ago, and we lived in Donegal in Ireland, and I just love these. So they're a bit whimsy and a bit fun, and bring great joy. The children's artwork, obviously, that changes all the time, and is a lovely place to put up all their pieces, just adding to the chaos and the fun and the brightness of the room. So am I a collector? I mean, yes, I'm a collector. I suppose I don't set out to be, but it's just, again, it's just something that comes natural to me. I like having things around me that I enjoy looking at, and that I enjoy going into each room and seeing the different things that I have here that bring me great joy. And I suppose that has amounted to a lot of collections of various different things in the house. I've also inherited a lot of things, so a lot of things have meaning that have come from the past that again I can look at on a daily basis, and it brings back wonderful memories. So I suppose, yes, that I'm a collector, but I don't like to see myself as that, in the sense that I fill the house with things that I love and that bring me joy. And that's why there's an awful lot of it, because I like that feeling in my home. Yeah. My go-to design tip is, gosh, there's probably lots of them. First of all, there's no rules. It's simple as that. There are no rules. The beauty of interiors, the beauty of showcasing one's home, having people in, is that, and doing a program like this, is that it doesn't actually matter whether you like it or hate it, because there's no right or wrong. I absolutely love it. And so to me, it all works, but to you, it might not. But as I said, it's an art form, and what one person loves, another person will hate, and that's okay. And I suppose that's part of the reason that I'm confident enough to sit here for Homeworthy and have everyone judge this house, is because actually it just doesn't matter. That's what it is. It's art, and there's no rules, and you know, you just have what you love in your home, and it's going to work. It's going to work for you and your family, and that's all it needs to work for. And this does, for the most part. I think some of my family might like me to tone it down a bit, but they tolerate it, knowing how important it is to me. But just off the kitchen then is our sitting room. And the two rooms are very interconnected, in the sense that you go from one room to the other and the flow is very easy, sometimes too easy. I often do think about, well, actually what I'd love to do is hang heavy curtains here, again floral and colourful, to close off when we want to, but my husband has absolutely said no to that idea for now. So at the moment they're very interconnected room, and it does work well. And again, you can see the array of everything in this room, and I'm sure to many it's way too much, and there is, you know, too much of everything, but for me it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful, uplifting, warm, comforting room that just, you know, brings me joy. A wonderful, cozy, comfy couch, an essential to me in every sitting room. We've had this couch since my daughter's 19, and it came into the house the day before she was born. Now, we've had some work done to it over the time, but it is just a wonderfully comfortable couch, a well-used couch. I love the idea of a fleece blanket, soft and cozy and warm, on the cushions of a couch, which you can plonk yourself down on. And as I said, it's really warm and soft. And this being a place where I would lie quite a bit, and this is one of my favourite viewpoints in this room. I just love this vignette. The painting is called Mackerel on a Table. It's an artist called Padder, I can't remember his surname, but we bought it at an arts exhibition in County Donegal. I think actually he had won a prize for this piece. And I just love again, actually this one is about stillness and calmness, and not very unlike a lot of my other artwork that I've collected. But I love it with the green plant and the floral lampshade and the birds there. The whole vignette here just makes me very happy. And as I said, often a moment is spent lying on the couch looking at it and admiring it. You'll see again, another mantelpiece and another excuse to display all the pieces that I enjoy, and nothing again done by halves, in that 2 or 3 hydrangeas would absolutely not have been enough, nor would one piece of Famille Rose porcelain. As you can see, I have many here. This beautiful piece came from Norman, who owns an antique shop called the Treasure Chest in Blackrock, again, just up the road. A lot of my purchases are quite local. And it's a beautiful Famille Rose vase that was made into a light. And then we have a pooky shade. I love shades. I think that I don't get plain shades. I think shades are a wonderful way to add fabric and colour to a room and to showcase off a lamp base. So all my shades are colourful and patterned. So again, you'll see that I have a whole array of art here as well. And I mean, I wouldn't even want to count all the pieces, because I would feel that would shock me into how much I have. But I think you don't see that, because I've kind of grouped them together. So they're birds and florals. And because then they're more like a collection, they're easier to view without it being too busy, because there's a common theme. And I think that's why it essentially works to have so many pieces in one place, because as I said, they follow a theme. The mirror was my grandparents', and I love it in its distressed state. We've never had it repaired. because I plan on keeping it like that. That's how it came to us. That's how I remember it in my grandparents' house. And that's the beauty of antiques, is that actually the more wrecked they are, I think the more beautiful they are. And that's an exact example of that. This is an old house. I mean, it's 1840s, and one could have done it up in a very old way, full of antiques. And but actually, and again, this isn't something I set out to do. It's just what came naturally to me, following my heart. And my love, as I said, with Carmel Marinan, with one of the first pieces I bought from her, this being it, which is the one where, as I said, I was driving by minding my own business, and there it is in the window, which I immediately, it spoke to me. It called me in to buy it, and a relationship followed with Carmel after that, and I bought many of her pieces. But I really love the fact that the wall is just light and alive, of colour and personality, each one just drawing me in, telling me a story. I call this actually my wall of happiness, and in fact my floor of happiness too, going back to the fact that art can be hung anywhere. It just needs to be somewhere where you can see it and admire it, and all these pieces do exactly that. This is the latest piece from Adrian Finishy. She's an artist in Galway, and again, a most wonderful use of colour. And if you look at it from afar, you can see it's looking through a window onto a boat scene. And actually, I told her just recently, she didn't realise this, the gold in it, the gold paint actually lights up at night time. It's just fabulous to see it at night time. So I've got almost like two pieces of art in one, which I'm delighted with. These two by Carmel Marinan. Again, you'll see many of her art. She is just talented and wonderful, and I am such a fan. Her pieces are beautiful. Some of these pieces here are really for my eyes only. Because my husband doesn't like them very much. So I've tucked them into corners where I know they are and I can enjoy them. But he doesn't know they're there and doesn't need to see them as he wishes. But as I said, I love them. We have this lovely little vignette here, which often a phone call is taken over in this corner to try and hide away from things and the busyness. A lovely place to look over the sea. Again, any excuse for a pattern and colour. So like this ceramic stool, which I've used as a table. So rather than having just a plain wooden marble type table, I have one that has got birds and flowers, and really any excuse, as I said, I will use to put florals and colours into. And then you'll see all the TV, which I unapologetically, we watch TV, we like TV and we don't hide it, so there it is in all its glory. But above it is again all the pieces that I've collected over time, which I hope are put together in some sort of organized way, and speak to me because of the pattern and the colors and the florals, which all of these pieces have, with some books interspersed in between. So the house works very well for us in the sense that it's a large house, and as I said, we have a family of there's 8 of us here. So we have different sections in the sense that the kids, there's a basement, so that's sort of the kids' hangout area. And then this is the main thoroughfare, the kitchen being like everyone else's kitchen, the heart of the home. And then we have another room upstairs where I can work and get away from everyone, and my husband too, if need be. But it's a very open house. People come and go. All the rooms are used. When we first moved in and the kids were much younger, the rooms weren't used as much upstairs, and we thought, oh gosh, is this going to work when we have all this space upstairs and no one's going up there? But now they're all much older and some teenagers, and so we use every part of the house, which I love. Everyone feels at home anywhere. There's no off limits here, and yeah, it's a lovely family home. I always think to myself when I'm going up and down the stairs, there's always someone I'm meeting either coming down or coming up on the way, and that's lovely, and that's the way a home should be: busy and lively, and yeah, full of life. So I love most about this home, oh gosh, I mean, from the moment I walk in, I look around and I just see all my things that I just bring me joy. It makes me happy. It's like that big hug when you walk in. That's what this home does to me. And that's a special thing to have in one's life, and I'm very fortunate to have that. So the house was built in 1840s, part of the terrace. It's called Longford Terrace. It's Italianette and Victorian in style. So again, it features all the wonderful ornate cornicing and stained glass and fireplaces, period fireplaces. So it's very elaborate. And we're very lucky to have a back garden as well, which is the perfect size for someone like me who didn't know that they were going to see a garden as another room to accessorize and to make into a space that again brings so much joy. But I discovered the garden, and I'm busy away now making that into another space like I did any room in this house. But it's the perfect size. It's really manageable. It's south facing, and it's again another lovely space to add to what we already have on the inside. So just walking into, well, the garden room, but it's not really a garden room. It's actually a utility room and a dog's room, but I think garden room sets the tone much better. Beautiful sun-filled room leading out to the garden. I want to point out just the ceiling, in which I recently wallpapered again, seeing now a fifth wall in the ceiling and something to do something with. I particularly love it because actually if you walk up the stairs from the basement, you can actually get a real view of the ceiling, which is very pleasing. This is a very special piece here, again by my soulmate in interiors who sourced it, a very old, actually I'm not sure what it is. It's sort of an Indian piece on canvas. It's wrecked, it's got holes in it. I don't know much about it, except that all I need to know is that I love it, and I had to have it. It is just beautiful, and as I said, Dee, who is just can see my soul into what I love, and sources these things, and they end up in my house. Don't know how that happens, but they do. And then love of blue and white ceramics, again talking about collecting things and putting them together, so they're all they look less, there's less of them, I think, when they're placed like that, and yes, I can appreciate every one of them. And then collectively, always an excuse for a chair and a footstool. Footstools are my thing, where I will, anything that I can reupholster in a glorious fabric, I do. So let me take you into the garden, which really took me by surprise. Gardening, I didn't really see it as being part of my love, as I might say. And yet here it is. It is an absolute excuse to decorate and as an extension of the home. It's another room as I see it. So needless to say, me and the garden get on very well, and I have turned it into this space, which is probably more formal than the rest of the house. And it doesn't use a lot of materials, unlike the rest of the house. It is actually quite matching, but it's I think appropriate. It feels appropriate to the size and to the nature of the house. We got very excited. We had a beautiful spell of weather recently, so we all thought it was summer. Being in Ireland, you've got to catch the rays when you can. I bought a whole load of geraniums, planted them, and then promptly it rained and became very cold. So they are not blooming the way I'd hoped they would. But if you can imagine this all in pink, and again, unlike the rest of the house, the garden, as I said, is a bit more formal, a bit more sedate, and so the same colours predominate in the sense that they're pinks and purples. There's not a huge array of colour, so it's slightly different. Again, also saying that you can follow different themes throughout your home, and that doesn't matter. If it works for you, well, then it works. Follow me to the basement of our house, which is where, well, we all hang out, but the kids hang out mostly with their friends. I'll stop you here though, again, another moment which displays a lot of my artwork and some more whimsy pieces. I've used here a very bright patterned, modern, in fact, carpet going down to the basement, which sort of sets the tone for what's to come. So the pieces that I found myself really drawn to without in any way knowing that I would be, came about. So artwork, large artwork, abstract artwork, colourful artwork. And how that came about was very innocently driving the kids to the tennis club and passing just in the village here around the corner a gallery called the Lime Tree Gallery. And as I said, minding my own business in the car, and I looked to my right, and there is this most amazing picture in the window, which, you know, nearly made me crash. I was so drawn to it. Anyway, got the kids to the tennis club safely, then went back, immediately pulled in and had lots of stuff on, but none of that mattered, and walked into this gallery to see that piece of art that just took my breath away, as I said, from a glimpse of being in the car driving by it. And yeah, it just started, it just rolled from there. I immediately met, the artist was there, Carmel Marinan, and we had a great chat about the piece. I could just see into the depths of it, and she was there to tell me where it originated from as well. And bought it, brought it home pretty much straight away, hung it on the wall. And from there on, it began. All the pieces now that I have accumulated all follow that sort of bright, colourful, large pieces, which just liven up the walls. And I love the juxtaposition between the modern and the old. So this is a really old house, but I've got the modern bright pieces of art, which sort of bring the house, make the house a little bit more modern, and add a touch of flair and interest, and give me great joy. And it all started that I had no idea I was into art until that day that I drove by and saw this piece in the window, which just called me to come in and buy it. And the love affair of art started with many of Carmel's pieces, in fact. So to her, I am forever grateful for introducing me into the world of art. I often hear about people buying art to go with things. Oh my goodness. I don't understand that. I would never factor in a piece of art, or actually anything that might go with something else. And again, my sister would have always talked about that. Pieces that match or that need to fit in, or no. You just buy something if you love it. It doesn't matter. And as I said, there's a common theme. If you love it, it'll work, because your whole house is full of that stuff which follows a common theme. So it's going to work. But yeah, a pet hate definitely is people saying that I bought this piece of art because actually it's got that little hint of pink, which will go with my hint of pink in a cushion. No, none of my art is bought because it matched or went or fitted in with something. So we're just walking into the basement of the house. This is a hangout area for the kids, but we all use it. It's fun. I think that's the word to describe it. Very different from the rest of the house, but again, there are no rules, and this is what felt natural to this part of the house. There's colour though, and patterns and lights of all different varieties, quite literally. Well, sorry, I should point out the swing, which is a family tradition. All the children in my family, my brother and my sister, would have had swings in their house, and I grew up with a swing in our family home, and it is a proper swing. It's such fun. So the kids absolutely, there can sometimes be 3 or 4 children hanging out of this, not so many adults. So that's definitely a centerpiece in this room. Looking at the rugs here, rugs are a really good way to fill a wall with large pieces, bright, colourful pieces, or whatever sort of pieces that you want. But it can often be a very inexpensive way. So like these would never have been that great on a floor, but actually work really well on the wall. And yeah, they're just really good fun. This is a funny story. This chair, Kira, who owns the Blue Door again around the corner, had this displayed in her window. And another drive-by, I don't know how I tend to find myself in these drive-by situations. It was in her window. I was driving by, saw it. I think it's JP and Baker fabric as well, and had to have it. So didn't even go in to see it. I dialed her on the car phone, asked her what was this piece and how could I have it. And she said that it was to show off the fabric, but absolutely, of course, I could have it if I wanted to buy it from her. And I said, yes, I wanted to buy it from her. And didn't actually, the deal was done. I then went in the next day to the shop to collect the chair. I had no idea it was this size because it's actually a rather big chair from my car on the road, quite some distance away in the window of the shop. It didn't look quite that big. So sadly, there's absolutely nowhere to put this chair. It doesn't fit in any of the rooms. So it is down here and enjoyed by, well, or not enjoyed by all the children, but I'll come down and visit it every now and then. And one day we'll have it somewhere else in the house. Again, you can see the total mismatch of furniture, of colours, and the fabulous, the one piece of wallpaper, the fish wallpaper. Again, a very whimsy. I love whimsy. I think that it adds interest. It gives you that surprise element, and that's what that wallpaper does. It's just fun, and that's what this room is all about. This is a very boring IKEA TV unit, but I painted the top of it orange just to give it a bit of a zing. Obviously I was never going to have a plain white piece in this room, so hence the touch of orange, which I think magics it up brilliantly. So these hearts, very unique because they were handmade by my sister, who was an artist, and her friend Morgan, who works with metal, and they made these into heart shapes, which I then put fairy lights around, and they're just wonderful. They give off such a glow, and they're so different, and again adding a whimsy element to the room and to this space. I also want to point out the gym area. Gym might be a bit far-fetched, but a few weights and a bike, but it is where my husband does his training, and it really is, that's his spot, and the whole entire house that's his little square corner of it, which I'm not allowed at all to interfere in. I mean, I'd love to obviously push down a few more rugs there and something on the radiator and maybe something in between the mirrors, but I've been told to stay away, and so I've done that. So again, but showing that the room really is used in so many ways, like the rest of the house, that all the rooms are used in different ways and have different functions to suit everyone's need. So coming to the first floor landing, providing another lovely moment in the house, greeted by this wonderful fish sculpture, which I just adore in its simplicity and beauty. And then obviously a few other sculptures to add, which I've accumulated over time. Artwork, again, all the beautiful, colourful, big pieces of art. Again, Carmel Marion did that one. And this beauty here, which I just love. I love the pop of orange that you get there with this painting. And then you've got the more classical floral pieces in these two French armchairs, which provide a lovely spot to just sit. Well, I mean, sit, that doesn't happen that often in this house with so much coming and going, but in theory it will be a lovely spot where you can sit and enjoy the sun on your back and look at the beauty of all the pieces that I have accumulated over the time. You see again my love of ceramics, and again collecting and putting these pieces together in a collection, which allows you to see the beauty of the pieces individually and then together as a group. So let me bring you upstairs now to another sitting room known as the drawing room, but it's essentially another TV room and where myself and my husband also work from. So come on up and I'll show you. So welcome to our drawing room, which is another TV room essentially. This is where I tend to come and escape because there aren't quite as many people who make it up to this floor from the kitchen area, so you can get a moment on your own. I also work here, as does my husband, and I mean, it is just a beautiful, stunning room without anything in it. You can see the beautiful, the square, the rectangularness of it, the the cornicing, the ceiling rose, the original wooden floor. So it's got the makings of a wonderful room, and then for me enhanced by all my pieces. In this room I have a lot of inherited pieces. So this bookcase here was my grandparents. They lived in a large Gothic house in Shankill, and this piece was in my grandfather's study. And as a child, I would often go to it, and all the children's encyclopedias up there, I would source for all my school projects from those books. So I have wonderful memories, and the smell that comes from it now of the oldness and just evokes all those wonderful memories. And luckily my siblings didn't have anywhere to put this bookcase because of the size, and we bought a house which facilitated it perfectly. So I am the very lucky minder of this piece. So another inherited piece is this beautiful Victorian beautifully etched display cabinet, which my grandmother, she loved going to auction houses, so I'm sure that's somewhere where I got it from too. This is a very beautiful piece, and again, I'm so lucky to have it to display then all the pieces that I've collected throughout the years, some inherited and some collected by myself. So I suppose this in the Victorian times was what's known as the drawing room, a very formal room which they would have used to entertain in and show off in as such, because you can see this with the beautiful cornicing and the ceiling rose and the very grand fireplace. So I mean, without putting anything in this room, it's a beautiful room with the 3 very gracious windows that we're lucky enough to be able to have wonderful views from of the sea and the boats. And when I'm not working, you will often find me hiding away on the couch here. And if you lie down on the couch, you get a wonderful view, as you can see now, of all the boats out in the water. Again, just so lucky to have this to call my own. So what gives a home a soul? What makes it come alive? I mean, it's the family, it's the people. There's absolutely no denying that. It's the coming and going, it's the everyday life, it's family life. But what adds to that, and is very much as important a part, is, for me anyhow, is the interiors and the feeling that you get when you're inside the home. And that feeling comes from the family and the people who are in it, but it also comes from how the house is, how the interiors are, and how it's full of things that means something to me and to the other family members. Everything has a story, there's a personality, there's a soul, and I think that all creates a sense of warmth and of love, because, as I said, this home is full of things that I love and cherish and enjoy, and I think that exudes when you're walking around the home. So yeah, that's very much sort of the essence of my family home. When we bought this house initially, I think I had no idea what my taste was and what I liked and didn't like. And you'll see from the tour that a lot of the couches were white, because white just, or beige, because that felt completely safe. But I think interior design has been in my family, the love of design and the love of architecture, for quite some time. My parents actually built their own house on the land of my grandparents' house in Shankill, which is in County Dublin. And so they were very much into architecture by doing that. And my own sister, who sadly passed away a few years ago, but she was very much into interiors. She had wonderful ideas in her house. She used to question everything that, you know, nobody questions. So like curtains either side of the window, well, she would ask, why did they need to be the same? And she's right. Why did they need to be the same? So she would have one pattern curtain on one side of a window, and then on the same window, but the other side, a different pattern, because why not? She wants to look at 2 different patterns. So she sort of questioned a lot of things that nobody else did, and she was full of colour and full of life and pattern and fabrics and florals. And so I used to go to her house. I was beige and she was colour, And she would always laugh at me and criticize me for my lack of personality in the home. And I would always go to her house and walk away thinking, oh my God, I couldn't have that, what she had in my house, all the stuff going on. But bit by bit, and mostly I think after she passed away, that sense of personality and love for all the things that you like in interiors, the things that mean something to you, began to grow. It's sort of, I always say, sort of something set a light inside me that I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, I now know what she was talking about, that, you know, you put into your home whatever you want, whatever you love. You don't need to have, there's no sense of style that you need to take on board. It comes from within. And all the things that she used to like began to grow within this house. As I said, the mismatch of colors and patterns and ceramics and glassware and rugs and all of that sort of thing grew, I think, from her. But I think it was in there somewhere, and it just came alight, as I said, from my visits to her home and then after she passed away. So let's go into our bedroom in the house on the top floor. Before we do so, again, I just wanted to point out these beautiful old tapestries. This one is a French tapestry bought in an antique shop just outside of Paris. And it's one of my favorite pieces. It's just a wonderful piece that is steeped with history. And I love taking a moment to enjoy it. So welcome to our bedroom. Now this is the dressing room part of our bedroom. We're very lucky to have this separate space. And as you walk in, you can see right out to the sea the views of Dublin Bay, which is a great starting point. So this is the area where we have the wardrobes and our clothes. It's an area where we do a bit of work at that desk there. And it's an area which has given me a great excuse to, again, hang all the things, or have all the things that I love, all the rugs and the floral paintings, the chinoiserie pieces, the lamps, the beautiful lampshades, this beautiful dresser, which is a bamboo dresser with a chinoiserie ingrained top to it. And again, housing a lot of my ceramics and porcelains. And then bringing you into the bedroom area. And this room is really where I pinch myself, not quite believing that this is mine, and that I get into bed and I have this view of, as I said, Dublin Bay, which at night time looks like a Christmas tree with all the lights sprinkling and sparkling, and during the day you get the different colours of the sea. So it's a wonderful spot to be in, and again surrounded by what we've seen to date in the house. It's my ceramics and my artwork, chinoiserie screen, floral fabrics and rugs, dried flowers. This is just a wonderful combination of everything I love in interiors, and it's all in here. So I love this moment here, which again, when I'm lying in bed, not only do I get to look out at the sea, but I can also look across at this beautiful ornate fireplace original to the house, and another mantelpiece to decorate with this beautiful Italianette mirror, and this stunning piece of fabric which I got framed. It's an Indian silk piece with peacocks and flowers, and it glistens in the evening light. It's a real beauty. Another moment to have a seat and to take it all in. So the room is full of everything that I love and enjoy, and very much treasure in our bedroom. So what does home mean to me? I suppose home is everything that everyone else talks about when asked what does home mean. That it is a warm, welcoming space. It brings comfort, joy, that warm hug feeling when you walk in the front door. And home to me my home does all of that for me. But what it also does to me, it gives me that little bit of magic, that when you're here, suddenly everything's okay. Everything feels right. Everything feels joyful. It's which is a bit of magic, because sometimes when you're outside the home, things aren't quite as good. And then you walk in here and suddenly everything's all right with the world. And I'm really lucky that my home does that for me. So goodbye, Homeworthy. It was such a pleasure having you here. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm so glad you made it to Dublin, Ireland to see my home. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.